Well, good evening everyone, and welcome to the Royal Commonwealth Pool here in Edinburgh. We are here for session 3, the first final session of the Edinburgh International Meet 2022. My name's Paul Noble. I'll be taking you through the action tonight. I'm joined in the commentary position by Jack Thorpe, Commonwealth Games medalist, former Scottish record holder, retired now, Jack, and you're on the other side of the fence working for Scottish Swimming.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, I think, but it was the right time. It was great to be here. I'm looking forward to some fast racing, some long course racing, a few outings for some, the first race of their season ahead of trials. For a few, there's been a few more opportunities in the bag already. Got an exciting programme ahead.
Yeah, and here it is. Here's what we've got to look forward to tonight. We've had qualification this morning and also in this afternoon session as well. Some really big names taking part in this competition. We start off with the men's 1500 freestyle. Well, looking forward to that 1500. We've got a couple of big names in that one as well. We've got youth finals, A and B finals. We have the women's 100 metres backstroke as well. We'll see Kathleen Dawson, the Olympic gold medalist in the relay. The Scottish record holder, British record holder as well, Kathleen Dawson.
Yep, she has. She's got that down at 58.0. She set that in Budapest, actually, the European Long Course Championships very recently. That was in May last year.
In the men's event, well, we have got the experienced man Craig McNally from Scotland trying to go for his 4th Commonwealth Games. That's going to be interesting for Craig McNally.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
He is indeed. A great backstroker, Craig McNally. 200 metres butterfly, Emily Large and Kiana McInnes, both Commonwealth Games swimmers. They go side by side in the centre lane. The big one, the 200 freestyle for men comes next, and that is stacked, isn't it?
It is stacked. I mean, even to make the A final is a very high standard time. Pretty much the full, I think it is the full 4x2 gold medal winning team, as well as the individual gold and individual silver. So it's a star-studded field, to say the least. Even the B final is full of big names.
Yeah, Tom Dean and Duncan Scott.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome onto the poolside the fastest team from the men's 1500 metres freestyle.
They go side by side. That one, James Guy, also in that 200 freestyle as well. Sprint events are on as well. We've got the women's 50 metres freestyle and the men's 50 metres butterfly. Anna Hopkin, another Olympic gold medalist in the 50 freestyle as well, and Ben Proud in the men's 50 fly, former world champion.
The skins will be great to look forward to. Got some really good events to come. Although I think they are now announcing the 1500 freestyle, so we should probably turn our attention back to the pool. And we have in lane 1 Adam Hall from Loughborough University. We have Hector Perdeau from Loughborough University in lane 2, an Olympian from Tokyo last year, the delayed Olympics. Daniel Whiffen in lane 3. Toby Robinson, lane 4. Luke Turley from Bath in lane 5. Carlos from Spain, it's a great international contingent here, one of the juniors, is alongside Mir Garolik from Israel, and Marshall Illingworth to round out the field in lane 8 from City of Glasgow.
Yeah, this is the fastest heat of the 1500 freestyle, no qualification for this event. It's the swimmers with the fastest entry times for this one. And I just said there, Jack, Hector Pardo, Olympian for the Great Britain team in Tokyo. Daniel Whiffen, Olympian for the Irish team as well. They may be used to the longer distances.
Yeah, well,
open water swimmers.
There are a few open water swimmers in this event.
Yeah, this is the longest distance that we go in the pool. 1500 freestyle. 30 lengths of this 50 metre pool.
Yeah, well, you could actually argue for Hector this is a bit of a sprint based off his pedigree in the 25k event, which is actually the marathon in swimming. So this is quite short for his repertoire.
The fastest entry time was Toby Robinson from Loughborough University. 15:01.35, so we'll see if anyone can dip under that 15-minute mark. Luke Turley first to the wall there, 28.09 for Luke Turley on that first 50. The Spanish swimmer Carlos Caracha Benito in second position, Toby Robinson well in the mix. Those two yellow marked lanes, that is lane 4 and lane 5. So as you look at the picture, lane 1 is on the left-hand side of the screen, the bottom of the screen, and lane 8 on the right-hand side, right at the top. So in those yellow marked lanes, Luke Turley in lane 5 goes over 58.85 for that first 100 jump.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see the different tactics, the approaches here. Some like to go out a little bit harder in the first few hundreds of a distance event and set the tone of the race. It can be a tactical play. Whereas others really like to settle in and hang on to the sides of their various competitors and play a much more tactical race. But yeah, it's fairly even at the start. No one's really setting the tone as such. I think the GB standard that's been set was Daniel Jervis, actually, a few weekends past in Ireland, dipped under the 15 mark. He was into the 1450s, which is a big barrier in this event, you know. So there's a few of them that I think might be eyeing that up. But if we get down to those times, we'll be in for a treat.
And of course, a lot of the swimmers, you know, preparing for the big events in the summer. We've got the trials just in a month's time, haven't we?
Yes, exactly. So this is really a key meet for a lot of the athletes. They'll be focusing on this. They might be coming towards the end of a more significant block of training. Particularly these distance athletes, they'll be hitting sort of the 70, 80 kilometres a week in the pool consistently, some of them above that. So, you know, they'll be coming into what we call a taper or rest period towards these trial events, and this is just at the end of a big training block. So you'll get people in very different places. You can see folk that might have rested a bit earlier and be in a bit more of a competitive position now, whereas others, the the bigger names, so to speak, the family, the sort of favourites that we know will likely be a bit more tactical in their training approaches.
Well, Daniel Whiffen has taken up the running, the Swim Ireland swimmer, represented the Irish team in the Olympic Games. It's the 20th place in those Olympic Games in Tokyo, and he's going well in the early stages there. He's in lane 3, just below those 2 yellow lane marked lanes. Daniel Whiffen goes over in 3:02.46. Carlos Garage Benito as well, second place in the Spanish Championships. He's going well. The Spanish have got a little bit of a history as well of the distance swimming. The women especially have been very successful on the international stage.
They have. I mean, Carlos has got some shoes to fill, but it's also very interesting to see their different approaches. If you look at Carlos, a very high stroke rate, lots of strokes being taken, compared to Daniel out on the outside, a much longer loping stroke. Again, that's a tactical preference or a stroke preference for these athletes. Some of them much higher rate, they might turn over much quicker, whereas Daniel's looking quite comfortable there.
And the caption you can see on the screen there, it will show you the dark blue amounts when we come to them at the turn. It will show you what your current split was when you hit that particular turn, and the kind of light blue, the grey if you like, was what you did for the last 50. So we'll be able to tell the kind of splits that the people are doing. There we go, Daniel Whiffen 30.75 there for that previous 50, and Carlos Garage Benito 30.63. So the Spaniard just slightly faster as they went through that 50 there and just closed that gap.
Yeah, so collectively here, a lot of these athletes are capable of getting down to those lower 15-minute markers, but they're probably sitting around the 15-12 mark roughly at the moment based off their pace. So a few of them might be in contention to get close to their best times, particularly Carlos down as a 15-15. The junior, or the younger athlete, I should say, coming in and throwing it down to the more experienced. But don't discredit Toby in the middle lane there, plenty of experience with him as well. And respectively, Hector probably, he's in a different place training-wise at the moment. He's clearly a little bit further back, but really is coming from the centre lanes here.
Yeah, 4 swimmers just heading over to the 500 mark. That's 1/3 of this race gone. Carlos Garage Benito 5:05.02. Good contest here between these two. Daniel Whiffen, Toby Robinson, and Luke Turley. They're right in the mix here. Robinson just maybe stretching ahead of Luke Turley. Loughborough University and Bath swimmers respectively will be chasing the overseas swimmers, the international swimmers here, but Carlos Garage Benito is looking good. Exactly the same time there for Daniel Whiffen and Carlos Garage Benito on that previous 50.
Yeah, I always found it interesting here to see what the tactics are, if people are breathing towards each other or what they're thinking, how they pace the race, if they're aware of their competitors. I did used to do the old 1500 back in the day in my younger years, and it was a bit of a brutal event, I remember that, and I very much played off the field around me. I think you'll find the same with distance events and running. You do have the time to sort of consider your competitors, even though you should be staying within your own race. Even now, for example, Daniel breathing across the Carlos, he will likely see, even look like he's having a little glance there actually down at Luke, who's actually closing the gap a little bit on Daniel now.
Yeah, I was thinking you were a 50 and 100 man, Jack.
That was where I ended up, and I'm glad for it, I can tell you that. Went from one extreme to the other, the longest in the pool down to the shortest. Not sure I would have had the same career I did if I stayed in distance events. Looking at the calibre and the standard now, it was absolutely nowhere near where these guys are at. Don't think I was really built for it, really. I saw the light, younger, fortunately, and transitioned across to the 50s. But I mean, the skill here, the technique required to hold your stroke together, to pace the event, it really is a skill. It's and the training required to do this as well is a huge amount of hours on the pool, huge volume. And as we've been speaking there, Carlos has made a huge move in that last length. He's really stretched out his lead.
Yeah, 30.68 for that previous 50 there. Daniel Whiffen round about a second or so behind. Luke Turley and Toby Robinson now pulling level with the Irishman. And we talked about Hector Pardo there, the open water kind of specialist. And that again is a very different discipline than being in the pool, isn't it?
It really is, and the technique is completely different as well. I mean, you're training to consider waves and the current and wind and all sorts, and then coming into the pool, it's a very controlled environment, and again, much shorter than probably what he's used to. It wouldn't surprise me if he's just coming out of the shot there, if by the end of this he's ready to do another 2-3 hours of racing. He's just warming up, so it's maybe more of a training effect, I think, for Hector. Toby is much more of a middle ground. I believe he's more 5k or 10k, so he's in the middle lanes there. Lane 4, Tobias Robinson, comes out of Loughborough. He's had some great events. We actually went to the same competition, World University Games, back in 2017. He was there in very tough conditions out in Taipei, Taiwan. Roasting heat. Again, it's the environment you're exposed to as open water swimmers. So again, this very controlled, comfortable environment comparatively will be a blessing, I think.
Well, 3 swimmers in the centre there, including Toby Robinson right in the middle of those 3. Daniel Whiffen's finding the early pace. He's paying for that early pace, but Carlos Garage Benito is looking very, very good indeed. Again, just check these splits there. Luke Turley and Toby Robinson not really pulling back on the Spanish swimmer. Daniel Whiffen just dropping off the pace now. We're into the second half of this race, well into the second half. We're down to the 900 mark, just 600 metres to go when they hit this bottom end. And Carlos Garage Benito looks like he's going to get this Spanish team off to a great start.
Yes, I mean, there's a fair few that have come across, and it's great to see so many taking this opportunity. It's got a great pedigree, this competition, and it's great for different rivals and peers to mix it up and throw down. And you know, Carlos is really epitomising that. He's absolutely going for it, and he'll be, as it stands, well on pace for his entry time of 15:15. He'll be thereabouts, holding those 30-point pace, sort of gathering across the whole race. It's really a war of attrition, the 1500. Who can hold it together with 11 lengths to go? Who's picked their pacing, how you break down the race, whether it's 3 500s or maybe 5 300 metres. There's lots of different ways to do it. As we get towards the end, in about 400 or 500 metres time, there'll be a bell that will signal sort of the last, almost like a sprint finish. And you do see some athletes that literally do start to sprint. I think of Sun Yang in particular. As controversial as he is, he would change his pacing drastically and go into a massive sort of 8-beat kick and really power away. So it'll be interesting to see at this point now in the final thirds what movements are being made.
Well, Carlos Garage Benito has got a big lead here. It's around about 4 seconds, just under 4 seconds ahead of Luke Turley, who is just getting away from Toby Robinson now. I've gone into the last third of this race. They're over the 1,000 mark. That's 1,050 for Benito. We'll just check, see if Luke Turley is making any inroads to that lead. Very slightly, 0.3 of a second faster. Carlos Garage Benito still got 400 metres to go when they hit this at the bottom end. So it's not all over yet, but he is looking good still.
He is. Carlos is holding his own, but Luke is slowly starting to chip away there. I mean, he's got enough time. If he keeps holding those 30-point mids, he will close, and it looks like he is slightly again. We'll see here that there's a 30.8 from Carlos, 30.6 again. He's taking marginal chunks out here, and they will add up, but he does need to start making a move if he's going to be within contention for the last 100 metres.
Yeah, he does. It's not going to be enough, just taking 0.2 off every 50. So he's going to have to do something. But it is Carlos Garage Benito just stretching away at the front of the field now. It looks like it is going to be Luke Turley touching into second position now. And, well, Carlos Garage Benito just up the pace there, 30.06, and that's taking him away again from Luke Turley. We thought Turley was closing, but not anymore.
Yeah, a real injection of pace there into the final sort of 20% of the race. He's making a move there, and he's breathing away from Luke here, so that's interesting for the final length potentially if Luke is within contention for that final phase. But yeah, he's still looking well in control here, and he's paced us well so far. Dropped back a little bit there into the 30-point highs, and Luke again dropped a little bit again, but they're holding their own, and they're again on for some decent times here.
Daniel Whiffen just trying to hold on to the feet almost of Toby Robinson there. I thought they were going to drop the Irish swimmer there, but he's hung on well. They are getting a little bit stretched out though. They're in a diagonal line here as they come up to this turn. Carlos Garage Benito, well, is it going to be another increase in pace for him? 30.39, seems to be jumping about a little bit. He's staying within the 30 point, but it's a low 30, then a high 30, then a mid 30.
Yeah, a little bit erratic. It's not what you would expect from a distance swimmer. You do tend to see them settle into a pace, and there's key points in the race where they might change gear a bit and move up into the next level of pace. But yeah, they are holding the 30 points, but like you said, it is very bouncy all over the place at the moment. 30.6 again, he's thereabouts. 30.5 again. Luke is making a change in his pace, but again, so is Carlos matching, and Carlos will be looking back over his shoulder. He'll be well aware, like I said, tactically where Luke and Toby are respectively in that diagonal line. So as it stands, a very clear-cut finish here for 1, 2, 3, unless there's a dramatic change in pace towards the last few hundred metres.
Yeah, Luke Turley and Toby Robinson have gone to their feet a little bit more than Carlos Garage Benito. Not much coming from the legs of the Spaniard there as they go over 13.50. They'll take the bell at this bottom end, and the gap is, well, 3.5 seconds now. It's going to be difficult for anyone to change the positions of these top three swimmers as they come to take the bell.
No, it'll be highly unlikely. I think they'll all be trying to close under that minute barrier, and there's the bell for the final 100 metres. Again, if Carlos can hold on to that pace, he'll be pretty much bang on his entry time if it is his personal best. So a stellar effort from Carlos to really take it out from the beginning, really. And there's his legs coming into play now. So it's again, when you go to your legs is a big key point in a 1500 metres. It can be very tiring to go to them too early, and Carlos has clearly held on enough to really fire the cylinders for the last 50.
Well, he is going to go over on that final turn there. Carlos Garage Benito from Spain. Looks like he is going to take the first title here at the Edinburgh International Swim Meet 2022. Luke Turley in second position there, clearly in second position ahead of Toby Robinson. But into the last 15 now. He will see the red markers here in the last 5, and here he comes to claim the title. Carlos Garage Benito from Spain, the 18-year-old, comes to take the title in 15:14.01. An excellent swim, faster than his entry time. He will be delighted with that one. It is going to be second position to Luke Turley and third place to Toby Robinson. Final swimmers, of course, still completing the distance, but that was an excellent swim from the Spaniard. It
was. Carlos there, he was a 29.4 the 50 before, and he finished in a 28.9, so he really was sprinting at the end there. You could see his feet firing in. It's the equivalent of in a marathon, someone really sprinting that last 200 metres, a Mo Farah-esque finish in the 10 or the 5 kilometres in the track, if you like. But it's a great way to pace your race if you can do it so accurately, to hold on enough to really give it everything you've got in that last 100 metres and put yourself right into contention for, well, what looks like a personal best time for Carlos.
Yeah, and we didn't mention his age all the way through, but 18 years of age. He looked really young when he looked up at the camera at the end there, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great place to be. I mean, that's a fantastic time to be throwing down at that age. We'll definitely want to look for in the future. It's one of those events, the brutality of the training that you're subjected to, it really does lend itself, these longer events, to the younger age groups. You'll see the ages of both male and female going up generally as you go into the shorter distances, because it's more sprint based, more strength based, whereas traditionally these distance events do lend itself to the teenagers a little bit. So Carlos is primed there for a potential distance career. Let's wait and see. But
there's the result confirmed. Carlos Garage Benito takes that title, 15:14.01. It's second position for Luke Turley from Bath, and Toby Robinson takes third place, 15:23.97. Well, great way to start the proceedings. And we go on to the next event, which is the junior final of the 100 backstroke for women. We'll have a junior final, a B final, and build up to the A final, which will be the main event in all of the events that we swim from now on. That 1500 was a bit of an anomaly. It was the fastest heat, so there was no qualification for that one, but junior finals, B finals, and A finals all the way now. So the swimmers just about ready to enter the pool. The lineup for this one in lane 1, just to the left of your screen: Elizabeth Erinsdottir from Havnar, Cora Rooney from Swim Ireland goes in lane 2, Valka Tind from Hovenstatens, one of the Danish teams here, Sophie Bromley from Swim England goes in 4, Rachel Saunders from Warrender Baths, that familiar red Warrender cap there in the centre of the pool, she goes in lane 5, Tom Minus from Israel in 6, Lacey Roberts from Plymouth Leander in 7, and Matilda Moller from Hovenstatens, she goes in lane number 8. Real international field here, Jack.
Yeah, it really is, and that was a great start there from Sophie actually in the middle lane. Great skills off the wall, great underwaters. Backstroke is one of those events you can turn the tables off the walls in terms of the underwaters. That's those big dolphin kicks that the athletes utilise, and Sophie's taken full advantage of that off the first 15 as she's coming into the first turn here.
And Sophie Bromley just leads them there. 2 lengths of the pool, of course. And very good turn, very good work off the wall for Sophie Bromley. She comes up ahead of the swimmer 1 lane down from her. That's Valka Tind from Hovenstatens from Denmark. Valka Tind trying to come back in the closing stages here, but Sophie Bromley just about holding on here. Will she take this junior race? Sophie Bromley holding on, but she's going to just make it ahead of Valka Tind. It was very close at the end, just half a second separating them, but Sophie Bromley, good work off the start, good work off the turn, and that was vital in that 100 backstroke.
Really was. She led it from the start there, and really a lot of grit in that first 50. I feel like in 100 you can set the tone for the race in that first 15 metres as she did, and a nice half second chunk off from this morning's performance. A few athletes dipping under a barrier there. It's always nice to see progression from the heats to finals. Worth noting here in the B final that there are a few juniors still in the B final. Again, the junior athletes often have the option to elect the senior final, and are quite often take that opportunity.
Yeah, good swim there from Sophie Bromley to take that one. There are the juniors you were talking about, Jack, just marked with a J at the end of their name there. Iona Colbert is one of them. Swim England in lane number 1. Charlotte Prince Rayner from Winchester in lane 2. Anna Green from Warrender Baths in lane 3. Amelia Robertson will go in lane 4 for Newcastle. Holly McGill from Heart of Midlothian goes in 5. Maria Godden from Swim Ireland in 6. Eve Dilley from Swim England in 7. And Charlie Jones from Loughborough University goes right up there in lane number 8. So a couple of local swimmers here from Edinburgh. Holly McGill from Heart of Midlothian in lane 5, and Anna Green from Warrender Baths in lane 3. Fastest into this B final though, Amelia Robertson from Newcastle in the centre lane, lane 4.
Yeah, I think it was quite a drop for Amelia actually from the morning, but it is Holly, I think, that's going out along with Anna, so it's the two Scots alongside the English in the middle lane 4 there. Really going for it. Let's see where we're at the wall. I think it might be, it's Maria Godden out in the outside lane there from Ireland.
And a good turn as well from Maria Godden there, just lane up on top of those 2 yellow lanes almost. Maria Godden, Amelia Robertson coming back strongly as well. In between those two is Holly McGill from Heart of Midlothian, one of the junior swimmers in this B final. Everybody closing up. What an excellent race this is for the B final. What a contest here as they come into the wall. It's lane 405, and it is Amelia Robertson takes it by 0.1 of a second, just ahead of Holly McGill, and the fast finishing Iona Colbert right down here in lane number 1. just almost snuck that one as well. 103.61 for her, just 0.2 of a second behind the leading two.
Yeah, phenomenal second 50. That was incredible. Kind of took us by surprise there. Just shows, I mean, some just a different pacing strategy. Some really go for it in that first 50, and others just hold it all back until the sort of the closing 15-20 metres. It's a recipe for an exciting race, and that really was a great way to transition into the senior final.
Yeah, excellent swims there. Amelia Robertson coming through really strongly in the second half. Holly McGill, and great finish there by Iona Colbert. As the swimmers exit the water, the A finalists will be announced. Holly McGill at 103.45, a whole second faster than the junior final. So Holly McGill will be the junior champion. So here is the A finalist, Rika Ode Lenfrink, representing KNZB from the Netherlands. Katie Shanahan from City of Glasgow goes in 2. Lauren Cox, first of the two Loughborough swimmers, in 3. Louise Hansen, Swedish swimmer swimming for Loughborough University. There's Kathleen Dawson, Scottish and British record holder, in 5, representing Stirling University. Her teammate at Stirling and in the GB team, Cassie Wilde, in 6. Elise Tannis, second Dutch swimmer, goes in 7, and Charlotte Evans from the City of Cardiff goes in lane number 8. Big support from the City of Cardiff there, big cheer for Charlotte Evans as she came out, final swimmer.
Great to see, and actually Louise Hansen there is traditionally more known for her butterfly and freestyle, but she actually won the World Short Course Championships in this event last year, very recently, 2021 December, out in Abu Dhabi. So again, lots of traits there. She's transferring that flutter kick into the backstroke event, and of course you can't discount Kathleen Dawson here, the Olympic gold medalist from the delayed Tokyo Olympics.
Yeah, gold medalist in that mixed medley relay, along with Adam Peaty, James Guy and Anna Hopkin. Kathleen Dawson will go in 5. Louise Hansen, I have to say, looked very good in qualification this morning. The Swedish swimmer. Kathleen Dawson has had such an excellent couple of years. It's really pushing her times and culminating, of course, with that gold medal swim in Tokyo.
Yeah, that was an excellent start there from Kathleen. She's taking it out well. Again, great underwaters, very relaxed head position. Again, being pushed on a bit from lane 3. With Laura Cox. I think it will come from the middle lanes. It's going to be close in the first 50. 29.5, great first 50 split. Kathleen just taking it over Laura Cox, and Louise Hansen still in contention.
Yeah, Louise Hansen very much in contention there in the centre there, just stroke for stroke with Kathleen Dawson, but real power for Kathleen Dawson, pulling away now from Louise Hansen. It looks like Dawson might be on the way to take this title, but Hansen's not giving this one up. It's Dawson just leading them into the final few metres. It is going to be Kathleen Dawson will take it. In second place it was Louise Hansen, and Lauren Cox almost sneaked second place as well, just missing out by 3/100ths of a second. Thumbs up from Kathleen Dawson, but she was made to work all the way.
She was. I mean, she looked really happy with that. I think she has been coming back from a bit of injury, I believe, around the knee, so I think she will be pleased to be getting in a competitive field and throwing down a very solid, what we would call an in-season. That's that pre-rest time. So again, the main focus will be towards April. Although saying that, Kathleen has actually pre-qualified for the Commonwealth Games, so job is done from that point of view, but you still want to be showing that progression, that competitive spirit, and putting yourself in these positions like she did there, and again, held it all the way to the line. Great race.
Yeah, Kathleen Dawson taking that title ahead of Louise Hansen and ahead of Lauren Cox. And this is the junior final of the men's 100 metres backstroke. Those are your 8 finalists. Adam Graham from Millfield going in lane number 1. Aidan Simons-Brown from Plymouth Leander in lane 2. Yav Halag from Israel in lane 3. Matthew Ward from Mount Kelly going in lane 4. Connor Cherrington from Millfield going in 5. Cameron Travis from Aberdeen Performance in lane 6. Mads Muller from Hovenstatens of Denmark in 7. And Robert Burgess from City of Glasgow right up there at the top in lane number 8. All these junior swimmers under the 1 minute mark for that 100 backstroke in qualification. Robert Burgess just sneaking under in that last place, 59.99.
He did, yeah. Matthew Ward was down he broke the 58 barrier, so that's another really substantial barrier to be breaking, and juniors are actually categorised as 17 or younger in this event, so again putting themselves in a great position for what is a stellar medley relay team as well that must be considered for Great Britain at the moment, so great to see some quality backstrokers coming through the field.
Yeah, Matthew Ward, that fastest qualifier from the heats, he leads them through 28.03. Connor Cherrington going well, just one lane up from Matthew Ward, and in third place it was Yahav Halak from Israel, pretty much going according to seeding there as they come into the closing few metres now, and it is going to be Matthew Ward will take it in 57.81, exactly the same as he went this morning.
Mirrored the same event. It was a fantastic finish there actually. You really saw him reach for the wall, take full advantage of that final stroke there, and yeah, absolutely nailed it again. To go below that 58 barrier at 17 is great. It's a great promise to see.
Well, he matched his time from this morning, 57.81, consistent stuff there from Matthew Ward. Connor Cherrington in second position, 58.57, and Mads Muller, 58.88 in third position there, the Danish swimmer. So that will be the target for the junior swimmers in this B final. Robbie Hemmings and Inbal Danziger and Toby Hill, the juniors in this one. There's a lineup: Hemmings from Swim England in lane 1, Alejandro Calderon from Mediterranean in lane 2, Adrian Santos Martin in 3, and Pedro Sanchez Castillo in 4, both Spanish swimmers. Inbar Danziger from Israel in 5, Nick Pyle from Stirling University in 6, Toby Hill, City of Manchester Aquatic in 7, and Cameron Brooker from Bath in lane number 8. Big Spanish representation in this one.
Yeah, and a few cheeky warm-up strokes there from Adrian. That was interesting to see. It was interesting to see the different approaches to the start there, the body positions, and how we're doing on the breakout. Looks to be fairly even at the moment. May have gone up in lane 6 there to Nick Pyle, well-experienced British athlete. He's really Inbar in the middle, holding his own. We've also got Pedro, again, great Spanish contingent here, holding their own. His teammate Adrian, again, may well get the turn here. It's going to be close. Oh, fairly blanket across the pool there.
Yeah, it
not
was
much between them at all.
Yeah, half a second, just separate the entire field there. Nick Pyle with that edge, and he used the start. He got a very good reaction there. He got a very good turn as well, Nick Pyle. And that's maybe just stretching him away from the others. Cameron Brooker going well right up there in lane number 8, and it might just well be Nick Pyle here, just trying to hold on. Castillo in lane 4 pulling up strongly, but it is Nick Pyle who takes it. 56.15 for him. It was Adrian Santos Martin as well in second place, just ahead of Pedro Sanchez Castillo. Very close contest between the two Spanish swimmers there in second and third, but Nick Pyle taking that one, and Robbie Hemmings with that time of 56.47 will be the fastest junior, so he'll be the junior champion, Robbie Hemmings from Swim England.
Yeah, that's 56.4 is really getting down there for a junior. That's a fantastic time, and I think Nick Pyle has been in the 55, so he's likely pleased to drop from his heat to final, but probably not quite on his best times, whereas the next 3 probably is there or thereabouts. So again, great to see that progression, people getting faster and stepping up in the finals.
Well, here are the A finalists for the men's 100 metres backstroke. Leading them through, Oliver Morgan from Birmingham University. From Stirling University, experienced campaigner Martin Walton. He goes in lane number 2. Brodie Williams had an excellent qualification swim this morning from Bath. Brodie Williams goes in 3, next to his Bath teammate Jonathan Adam. goes in 4. Conor Ferguson, the Irish swimmer, goes in lane number 5. British Olympian from Tokyo, Joe Litchfield, representing Loughborough, goes in 6. It's Craig McNally trying to make it to another Commonwealth Games, his 4th Commonwealth Games if he were to make it. And Zach Speakman, the Stirling University teammate of McNally and Martin Moulton.
Yeah, there'll be a few tactics going on here. Conor Ferguson will likely be out quite quick, being the more of a 50 specialist. McNally will really close well, as he does, that traditional 200 back end, and then you've got Brodie Williams, more of a 400 IM swimmer, but backstroke he does have a great pedigree in the 200 as well. And Joe Litchfield, he really is a jack of all trades. He can throw down in so many events, and again a very handy 100-metre backstroker. But again, we'll see some fantastic underwater work here with those big dolphin kicks, maximising the full 15 metres, which is what is allowed off of each wall. And I believe these athletes will be taking it right to the edge, which will be the red marker that will come into shot.
Yeah, the little red marker on the lane ropes. You will see at 15 metres, those red lane ropes you can see, that's the 5-metre markers. We'll see who gets out to the best first 50 here.
Oh, really close there from the few middle lanes. Conor with a great start, and huge underwaters there, and Brodie Williams going really well. Joe Litchfield as well. Hit lane 6, he's really powering away, great high rate into the wall. He is coming from the middle lanes. Conor at the moment, I believe, will get the first. It may well be Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan Adams.
Jonathan Adams it is.
Yeah, 26.28 for Jonathan Adams. Brodie Williams right there, and that bodes well for Brodie Williams. We know he's a very strong finisher. Oliver Morgan going well right down here in lane number 1. McNally as well, right out there in lane number 7. We know he's a fast finisher, but it's going to be very, very close in the Jonathan Adams. Just holding on. They're all coming back now into the finish. Jonathan Adams is going to take it. 55.15. Jonathan Adams takes it. Brodie Williams just behind in second position. 55.47 for Brodie Williams. And in third spot, it was Craig McNally. Well, we said watch out for him at the end. And his traditional late finish there for Craig McNally takes him into the bronze medal position.
Yeah, great to see McNally getting back into the 55s and the 100 backstroke. He's got a phenomenal short course times about him just because of those fantastic walls. But yeah, that's really good to see. Smattering of 50 craft 5s across the board. And
absolutely.
Litchfield and Conor as well, right up there.
Yeah, tied there. 55.66 for Joe Litchfield and Conor Ferguson. So a dead heat for fourth. Just behind Craig McNally by 8/100ths of a second, with Brodie Williams just a 10th of a second in front of those three. And Jonathan Adams, clear winner in the end, but only by 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, well, he took it out from the start, that's for sure, and really maximised that first 50. Again, it's likely in these events, those that really push it out from the start like that tend to be able to hang on, unless they very much do go far beyond their capabilities, which can make for a spectacular finish. But yeah, he did fairly lead that start to finish.
So it's the women's 200 metres butterfly junior final. There's your lineup. Coco Croxford from City of Glasgow in 1. Naomi Parker from Morpeth in 2. Isabel Wood from Stirling Swim in 3. Lacey Roberts from Plymouth Leander in 4. Olivia Kingsland from Nova Centurion in 5. Erin Taylor from Finns in 6. Kiana Kurtza from Warren de Bass in lane 7, and Lauren Clark from East Lothian going in lane number 8. So 200 butterfly, 4 lengths of the pool.
Yeah, it really is one of well, arguably is the hardest stroke. I think if any member of the public who doesn't know a lot about swimming and you say butterfly, they think, oh, it's probably the one I can't do, or the one is very difficult. And 4 lengths back to back is absolutely brutal. And there's a few 14-year-olds in this race actually, out in lane 1 and lane 7 respectively, and even Lacey in the middle lane there from Plymouth Leander at 15. It's again the maturity and experience required actually for this event to pace it well. It really does put a lot of pressure on the shoulders, because the last 50 metres of this event in particular can be a world of pain if you go out just a little bit too hard.
Yeah, one of those youngsters, Kiana Kurtz, swam very well paced qualification swim this afternoon. That red cap of Warrender, just one down from the top there, the 14-year-old. And, she seemed to get stronger as she went through that. But, she only swam that this afternoon session, and that was a big improvement for her. She's going to try come back tonight and try and improve on that time. It's a tough ask for the young swimmer.
It really is, with only a couple of hours of rest in between. Rest being the key word there, and their lack of, and potentially feeling it a little bit now is Kiana, and it's maybe coming more from Lacey and Livia in the middle lanes, looking to pull away just a little bit. This is really where we're going to see who's held on and has enough left in the tank to see through this last 50. It's looking to be Olivia.
Well, that was a great turn there from Olivia Kingsland, taking her clear of the rest of the field. Lacey Roberts just being caught now by Isabel Wood, swimmer from Plymouth Leander, and Stirling swim side by side, and Lacey Roberts not giving this one away at all. She's trying to come back now on Olivia Kingsland. She is closing on Olivia Kingsland, but I think Kingsland is going to take this one. It's going to be Olivia Kingsland who gets in a time of 2:22.06. Takes it ahead of Lacey Roberts and Isabel Wood. Naomi Parker in for 4th position. And Olivia Kingsland takes that junior title, junior final, I should say, 2:22.06.
Yeah, it's a very nice drop from heat to final there. It was another handful of seconds, which is great to see. I mean, that's a brutal event to be backing up again, and not a lot of time to rest in between. So, again, some great results across the board there.
So the B final now contains, as you can see, a couple of junior swimmers in lanes 3 and 4. The full lineup: Gaia Alcaraz from Aberdeen Performance in 1, Faye McDonough from Borough of Stockton in 2, Raka Ofia from Israel in lane 3, Lucy Fox from Swim England goes in lane 4, Fleur Lewis from Swim England in lane 5, Kat Price from Millfield in 6, Catherine Bailey from Perth City in 7, and Amy Brownridge from Plymouth Leander in lane number 8. Well, 2:18.07, the fastest qualification time. That was Lucy Fox from Swim England.
Oh, very powerful start there from Lucy Fox. Take it out. More of an unusual stroke there with the technique, more of a pronounced kick at the end there. See different styles and approaches to this race, particularly over the 200 metres. Some athletes much lower, some athletes a bit more loping. And it is looking to be... Is Lucy coming to the wall just? Oh no, okay. Oh, Lucy a bit of a slower turn there. Found wanting around the wall, but still right in the mix.
Yeah, it's Kat Price there. We just took the touch at that first turn. Kat Price from Millfield with that green cap, just above the yellow line markers there.
Millfield have a stellar programme at the moment. They've got lots of athletes coming through. A very well set up programme and coaching fraternity, and it is Kat pulling away slightly now. It's a very powerful second 50. So Lucy still right in the mix as well as Flora. Holding those 34 mids.
Still not much in it, but another good turn there from Kat Price, just taking her away. Good underwater work off the turn. It is Lucy Fox in lane 4, and in between them is Fleur Lewis as well, the two Swim England swimmers in those centre lanes. Kat Price still leading them, as she's done most of this race. But can anyone pull back on this final 50? They are really coming back slightly.
Yeah, it really is all to play for in a 200 metre butterfly. You think it's all said and done, and then someone comes powering through in the last 50, and there's a definite acceleration from Fleur and Lucy there. Closing on Kat slightly. Kat's stroke slowing a little bit, and here comes Fleur and Lucy. They are closing significantly now.
Yeah, Fleur Lewis there looking probably the most likely in lane number 5. Kat Price though still trying to hold on. Here comes Fleur Lewis on the shoulder now of Kat Price. Fleur Lewis looks like she has timed this to perfection. She does in 2:15.78. Kat Price in second and Lucy Fox in third position. Really good race between these three, and Fleur Lewis, well, she got it perfectly correct.
Yeah, and she looks very calm and collected there, actually, even finishing at the wall. So impressive stuff, holding those 34 mids there, just didn't really slow down compared to her rivals around her, and that was the difference. In swimming, the fastest point you'll ever be is when you dive off of the block, and quite often we refer to the person who slows down the least as the winner, or as the person that can sustain that pace for the longest, especially an event like the 200 metre butterfly. And yeah, Fleur, she nailed it there, absolutely nailed the pacing.
Yeah, really good race there from Fleur Lewis from Swim England, just taking Kat Price in that final couple of strokes there. That's the kind of races we like, Jack, isn't it?
Oh yeah, full of excitement and unexpected last 50s, keeping us on our toes.
So here are the finalists, the A finalists for the women's 200 metres butterfly. Lotte Hosper goes in lane number 2 from the Netherlands. Chiara Slossen from Edinburgh University, she's going in lane number 3. Kiana McInnes from Stirling University, fastest into this final. She goes in 4. Emily Large from Bath, she goes in lane 5. Yvonne Brown, who finished strongly this morning from Aberdeen Performance, she goes in lane number 6. Jennifer King in lane 7 from Stirling University. And Sharon Shitterman from Israel, she goes in lane number 8.
Well, lanes to watch here definitely are Kiana and Emily, but don't discount Ciara Sloshen. She's had some great performances in Ireland recently and at Bucks Nationals, but I think Kiana and Emily looked in good form. There's been some strong heat performances this morning from all these athletes, so yeah, I think we're again in store for potentially an unpredictable race.
Yeah, Kiana McInnes swam very good heat swim. She wasn't in the same heat as Emily Large. 2 Commonwealth Games swimmers here. Should be the favourites for this one in 4 and 5. Kiana McInnes is the Scottish record holder in the 100 butterfly. The 200 butterfly is long-standing record held by Hannah Miley.
Yeah, well, Hannah, again, just put her hand to many events, predominantly the 400 IM, which is now being followed up by Katie Shanahan, who we'll see later this evening. But again, Kiana, maybe in the meets to come, could challenge that, get down to that 208 barrier or 207, but is looking very close at the moment. Kiana McInnes, Emily Large, Ciara Sloshen, stroke for stroke there. Again, all to play for up to that first 50.
Yeah, Kiana McInnes just with that 6/100th of an advantage there in lane number 4. It's kind of panning out as we thought that it might. Ciara Slosson still in the mix as well. Lotte Hosper going well in lane number 2 as well, the Dutch swimmer. And the main contenders probably in that centre 2 lanes. And lane number 5, Emily Large, now takes up the running at the halfway point.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how far the athletes go off the wall. Some of them purposefully taking less kicks under the water to kind of get up and get into the stroke, get some oxygen quicker. You can see Emily and Kiana, they're making a bit of a move. Ciara's got a very strong, powerful stroke. Ciara Sloshen, that is, and Kiana a little bit quicker pace, similar to Emily Large, although looks like Kiana is making a slight move now in this third 50. Coming into the wall.
Kiana McInnes back again in front. What has Emily Large got? Can she respond now? It's Ciara McInnes now heading for home. This is the final length of this one. Emily Large, well, it looks like Kiana McInnes has got it at this point. Has Emily Large got anything left? Can she pick up the pace in these final few strokes? Kiana McInnes Head down for Kiana McGuinness. She is coming up to the flags. Emily Lars just behind now. It's all going to be about the touch at the finish here. Kiana McGuinness stretches for it and just gets it in 2:11.34. Emily Lars just 0.25 of a second behind her. And Kiara Slauson in third position. But Kiana McGuinness did it 2:11.34, and she gets in ahead of Emily Large.
Yeah, well, I mean, Yvonne Brown there right at the end. We totally missed that. 2:13.9. She absolutely closed on the field there, storming last 50. But yeah, Kiana did hold her own. Emily with a bit of a sprint finish, but didn't quite time it. And again, great to see Kiara Slauson getting back down into the teens, getting closer to her personal best times. But yeah, that was an exciting race again for contesting those medal positions.
Yeah, we've certainly had a few exciting races tonight, some really close finishes. And here is the next event. It's the men's 200 freestyle. We have the junior final. And there is your lineup. Solomon Williams from Millfield in 1. Gabriel Helmadi from Hovenstatens in 2. Daniel Eichel from Israel in 3. Ruben Rowbottom Keating goes in 4. Carlos Caracha Benito back in the water again after his 1500 heroics. He goes in lane 5. Evan Jones in 6. Daniel Kraviski in 7 from Israel. And Evan Bailey from Swim Ireland up at the top in lane number 8 with that green cap.
It'll be interesting to see what Carlos has here after the 1500 metres. He'll be on that high from doing well and producing a good time, but again, that's very close, very short amount of time to be producing back-to-back swims.
Yeah, absolutely. Carlos Carash Benito goes in at lane number 5 there. Ruben Rowbottom Keating was the fastest into this junior final. Just half a second ahead of Carlos Carash Benito, but of course Carlos didn't have that 1500 in his legs and arms when he swam that heat swim this morning.
Yeah, well, you can see Ruben's clearly a wee bit more fresh, a little bit more electric off that first 50, and he's powering through there. Nice long loping stroke. Evan Jones and Daniel there, respectively, lane 6 and 3, still well in the mix. Carlos is going to be having a bit of work to do here in the second 100, but he's still holding his own.
Yeah, it's very close indeed. Evan Jones in lane number 6, just getting the edge there over Ruben Rowbottom Keating at that halfway point. Daniel Eichel, Solomon Williams was still in the mix there in lane number 1 as well. Not much to choose between any of the swimmers here, but lane 6, Evan Jones maybe making a move here as they come into this final turn.
I think Evan will be breathing away from them in this last length if he's breathing to his right, so he's going to have to trust his instincts and his pacing and know that he's got enough left in the tank. The challenge is all going to come from the other side of the pool now. He's dropped his respective counterparts beside him, but he's looking in a very good position there as Evan Jones.
He is indeed. Evan Jones now just heading a group of 3 swimmers here, going in 4, 3 and 2. But it may well be Evan Jones just getting to the wall first. He takes that one in 27.85 for the final 50, 152.57. Ruben Rowbottom Keating in second position, and in third place it was Daniel Eichel.
Yeah, a bit of a sprint finish there from Ruben. Maybe took his foot off the gas a little bit on that third 50, left himself with a bit too much to do, but again, great all-round swim there from Evan Jones, very well paced. Significant drop from heat to final, nearly 2 seconds there actually, and Ruben roughly a second. So, and Carlos, I think maybe a little bit too much to do, having a 1500 to 200 freestyle double. But yeah,
tough ask for the young Spanish swimmer.
And even in the B final now, as we progress in the 200 freestyle, there are some stellar athletes with, again, Olympic gold medalists in lane 3 with Jacob Whittle. With Matt Richards and Jacob Whittle, also in the Olympic team for the 4x100 freestyle.
Yeah, Matt Richards goes in the centre, 4x200 relay man, representing Bath here in Edinburgh. Michael Klomachevsky from Hatfield down there in lane 1. Jordan Sloan, the Irishman, in 2. Jacob Whittle, one of the 3 juniors in this one. He goes in lane 3. Matt Richards disappointed not to make that A final. A chance of a second swim here. In lane 4, Jacob Goodman. In 5 from Loughborough, Finn McGeever from Ireland. In 6, Miguel Martinez Manoa and Ignacio Perez de Tuyela. 2 Spanish swimmers right at the top there in 7 and 8.
Wow, that's an explosive first 15 metres there from Jacob Whittle, really sprinting down this first 50. Matt Richards maybe a little bit more in control of his stroke there, but Jacob is going for it in this first 50. He's going out with intent. He actually went a 1:49.1 last week in Marseille, so he's coming off the back of PB performances very recently. That's well under his best, I believe, from recent swims. So again, maybe holding back slightly, a tactical play from the morning into the final heats that you sometimes see with the senior athletes, but Richards will challenge him right to the wall. And don't discount Jordan Sloan on the outside as well. He's well experienced senior Irish athlete. But yeah, it's coming from the centre lanes. Jacob still holding on to that early pace.
Yeah, Jacob Whittle leads them into the halfway point. Matt Richards in second. Jacob Goodman also going well in lane 5. And Jordan Sloan still in the mix there in lane number 2. Richards, said member of that 4x200 freestyle team that took gold in Tokyo. And it's huge competition to make that squad, that 4x200 squad, because they know they're a world-beating team. Lots of people want to take places in that squad.
Yeah, it just elevates the standard across the board. And look at that, 1:22.04.040.6 respectively, and point. Well, that's phenomenally close for the first 4 athletes, I should say there. So this would really be an exciting sprint finish here into the wall. Matt Richards maybe just coming through now.
Yeah, it looks like Richards maybe showing his strength here in lane number 4. He has been pressed though by Jacob Whittle. He's been pressed by Jacob Goodman. But Matt Richards may well get to the wall first here. He stretches for it in 1:50.64. Jacob Whittle 1:50.84 and Jacob Goodman 1:50.85. What a finish there.
That was a phenomenally close race in the end. I mean, even with a 50 to go, there was, what was that, 600ths between the field, 700, something like that. Extremely close margins. So it really does show that if you've paced your race well enough and you've got that bit left in the tank, and you'll see that with the athletes to come, particularly Duncan Scott and Tom Dean. They're phenomenal last 50 finishers, and that's who we'll be seeing next in the A final.
Yeah, we will indeed. Great warm-up for the big event, the men's 200 freestyle finals. We said very, very competitive to get into this final. And it's a big lineup that we've got here.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It's the A final.
The open finalists for the men's 200 meters
Another 200 freestyle for men. Leading him out will be the Spanish swimmer, Cesar Castro Valle.
representing Spain, Cesar Castro Valle. In lane 2, representing Sterling University,
Cameron Curl, Olympian from Rio, Sterling University, goes into James Guy, member of that gold medal winning team in Tokyo. Duncan Scott. Well, what can you say about Duncan Scott? What a phenomenal athlete he is. Silver medal behind this man in Tokyo, Tom Dean, who took the Olympic title. Stephen Milne, an Olympic medalist himself in Rio in the relay. Felix Albert, 4th place finisher in the 400 freestyle in Tokyo. And Jeremy Bagshaw from Limerick completes the lineup. What a high quality field this is, Jack.
It is indeed. I mean, 1:48.31 from Duncan this morning. He did look like he fairly cruised it. He was a wee bit quicker than I was expecting, in all honesty. And Tom Dean with a 1:50.18 comparatively to a 1:48.45 that he went at McCulloch a few weeks ago. So again, on paper, in the last couple of weeks, they're both very close, only 0.1 between them. So I expect to see Tom drop a fair bit. And again, James Guy, he's been quicker this season already, whereas Duncan did look quite comfortable. So it's going to be an exciting race. It'd be really great to see a few athletes maybe drop into that 1:47.
Well, Duncan Scott, you said, fastest 1:48.31. in the heats. What an Olympic Games he had. What an Olympic Games that Tom Dean had. Absolutely amazing. We have the gold and silver medalist in this event from the Olympic Games right here in Edinburgh in lanes 4 and 5. Duncan Scott in 4, Tom Dean in 5, James Guy 1 lane down there in lane number 3. And Duncan Scott off to a decent start there. Maybe, is it James Guy just edging them into the wall here?
Yeah, it's very much as James Guy's tactic. He does really go out quite hard. Similarly to Duncan there as well. They're both stroke for stroke. Duncan's such a technician, long loping stroke. Guy working maybe a little bit harder. Tom closes phenomenally well on that last 50, so he'll definitely be one to watch. But Duncan's in full control here. Long loping stroke. In control of the race, breathing towards Tom. That'll be significant in the last 50.
Well, Duncan Scott, he has hit the front there, 52.10. James Guy just behind. Tom Dean, ominously very close behind as well in 3rd position. Cameron Curl going well in 4th position, but it looks like the big three are now stretching away from the field.
Yeah, identical splitting there for Duncan and Tom Dean to the 100th on that 50. So again, they're right on each other, and they'll be looking across gold medal and silver medal individually at Olympics respectively, and it's going to be a phenomenal last 50 here. So close, it's going to be right on the touch.
Well, Duncan Scott just with 1500ths of an advantage there over Tom Dean. But Tom Dean now just going ahead, showing his real power there as he goes ahead of Duncan Scott. Has Duncan Scott got the ability to respond? Tom Dean has timed this really well. It looks like Scott and Guy are going to be battling for silver medal, because Tom Dean, the Olympic champion, wins here in Edinburgh. He is in the 147 range, 147.60 for Tom Dean. He came through in that final 50 really well. It's 2nd place to Duncan Scott and 3rd place to James Guy, but Tom Dean takes that, and that was awesome.
That was indeed, a 27.2 coming back there for Dean. That was a really fast last 50, and I think Duncan and James just dropped off a little bit into the 28s. But yeah, Stephen Milne closed again very well, and great to see him getting close to that 150 barrier again. He's been a little bit off his form, but again finding his feet for trials in a month's time, so great timing.
Yeah, and of course these guys building up to the trials, building up to the major championships in the summer, and they're hitting 147s and 148s already.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, it's likely these guys, knowing their training, will be in heavier training right now, so again, producing such world-class times already is fantastic to see, and it's a real promise for the competitions to come. And again, Tom Dean and Duncan are both pre-selected already, so they will likely be training through in this period for both this competition, and they'll maybe have a bit of a rest coming in for the next. But again, it was fantastic to see so many sub-150s there. Now we move on.
Yeah, it's the women's 50 metres freestyle. We've moved to the other side of the pool. We have 2 junior finals in this one. So we have the 50 metres events. Well, we have the skins to look forward to, Jack, in the 50 metre event. We'll explain that when we come to it. We've got 2 junior finals to enjoy first for the women's 50 freestyle. First one we see Kirsten Powell in 2, Drew McKenzie in 3, Evie Float in 4, Lorraine Lungo in lane number 5, and Coco Foreman in lane number 6. It looks like lane number 5, Lorraine Lungo from Israel, just having the edge there. Coming back very strongly though, Drew McKenzie in lane 3. And Evie Float in lane number 4. Might be City of Glasgow cap in the blue there. Drew McKenzie into the wall. And Drew McKenzie does take that one. A big ooh from the crowd here in Edinburgh. 26.80 for Drew McKenzie. 7 100ths of a second ahead of the Israeli swimmer. He's just 6 100ths ahead of Evie Float. What a race that was, really close. Yeah,
I mean, all in the finish there, particularly from Lorraine. Fantastic finish. If I can critique Drew a little bit there, she did lift her head at the finish, so nearly lost it to Lorraine, but she held her own, and the work was done earlier on in the race. But again, these splash and dash events, there's no room for error. You leave anything on the block and the finish, and you're going to be found wanting. Particularly in the as the events get quicker and the athletes get bigger, as we'll see, these margins become more significant and they really can make a huge difference.
Well, 26.80 from Drew McKenzie. That'll be the target for these junior swimmers here. Shane Golan, Holly Widows, Hada Karp, Erin Little, and Daria Golovati. 2 Israeli swimmers in here as well. And, well, maybe the centre lane, that's Hada Karp, the Israeli swimmer in the middle of the 5 swimmers here. Erin Little going well in lane number 5. Also lane 3 is Holly Widows from Mount Kelly. It's really, really too close to call. Maybe Daria Golovati from Israel right up there in lane 7 will take that one. In 6 even, 26.00. She gets in ahead of Erin Little, and it's a dead heat for 3rd place between Holly Widows and Hada Karp.
Yeah, now we move on to the junior final of the men's 50-metre butterfly with Harley James from Cardiff in lane 1. We have Daniel Kravinsky from Israel, Daniel Dravatkov from Israel, Martin from Israel, and we've got Ignacio from Spain, Michael from Hatfield, Inbar from Israel, and Rui from Glasgow, Rui McKinnon. So a huge contingent from Israel there.
Yeah, we saw them in the junior final of the women's event just gone. And 3 Israelis all next to each other in this men's 50 metres butterfly sprint event. Martin Kartavi was fastest in there, 25.09. And very good start there from lane number 6, Michael Klimachevsky using that underwater, the Hatfield swimmer in lane number 6. And just about holding off the challenge from Inbar Danziger. 1 lane out from him and 1 lane inside is Michael Klimachevsky as well into the wall. It's going to be very tight. Maybe lane 4 will get it. No, it's lane 3. It's Daniel Dravkov. Well, I thought it was going to be lane 4 to take that one, Martin Karavati, but he was beaten by his teammate just on the touch.
He was, and to his credit, Rory McKinnon coming from an outside smoker there for a joint 3rd place with Martin. So that was a stellar effort. It just shows all you need is a lane and you've got a chance there. So again, coming through, drop from heat to final. Good performance there from the juniors, setting the standards. And now we'll be moving on to the skins events. So the skins formats that will be working is 90-second intervals for men and women respectively. Women will start with the 50-metre freestyle and they'll be on a 90-second watch, and then the men's 50 freestyle will start, and it's a 3 minute per round. And
yeah,
we're going to be
50 butterfly for the men, 50 freestyle for the women, just as we've seen in the juniors. And after every round of the skins, we lose some swimmers.
Yeah, so we
until
lose
we're
2.
down to the last 2. And they have a head-to-head.
So I think we lose 2 after the first round, 2 after the second, and then it's 1, and then it'll be a final 3, final 2. So yeah, it's a brutal event. It's what we call lactate. It really builds up. It's that acid in the muscles, and this event really tests your technique, your ability to cope.
Abby Wood take them through in lane 1 for Loughborough. Tane Bruce we saw go through for Edinburgh University. Harriet Rogers for Stockton in 3. There's Anna Hopkin, the Olympic champion in the relay. Very much the favourite for this one. Looked great in the qualification heats this morning. Amy Canny, well supported here from Plymouth Leander. Milo van Beek from the Netherlands. There's Lucy Hope, Olympic swimmer from Stirling University, and Emma Russell completes the lineup. Emma Russell in lane number 8. We'll introduce the men as well. The women will go first, followed very closely by the men. Casper Pugard for Hovenstatens coming out. Tim Kostanje from the Netherlands in 2. Jacob Peters from Bath. Well, he looked good in the heats. I think he's got more to give. There's Ben Proud what a star Ben Proud is. British record holder, former world champion. Alberto Lozano Mateos from Spain in lane number 5. Gregor Swinney had a good qualification heat. He goes in lane 6. Callum Bain from Swim Ireland goes in 7. And Jamie Ingram from City of Manchester Aquatic goes in lane number 8.
And this really is the splash and dash, the 50 freestyle and the 50 butterfly as well, the fastest strokes in the pool. Very exciting. I think Anna will likely be the favourite here from the middle lane, based off performances from Marseille very recently as well as this morning.
Yeah, phenomenal.
It'll be all to play for the middle places.
Anna Hopkin in the centre lane there in lane number 4. Another great start. That straight arm technique of Anna Hopkin taking her away from Amy Canny. It's very, very close for second position. Coming through, Harriet Rogers coming through in the closing stages here, but Anna Hopkin surely will be first to the wall. Anna Hopkin will take that 50 freestyle first heat, and she will go through to the next round of the skins, as will Amy Canny, as will Harriet Rogers. Milo van Beek as well will qualify. Tane Bruce will be in there as well, and Lucy Hope. And we will lose 2. Abby Wood and Emma Russell will not take part in the next round.
Yeah, 24.84 for Anna. She was 25.0 twice in Marseille last week, so I think she'll be very pleased with that. And great to see other athletes breaking that barrier into the 25s. Tane Bruce, I think that's a personal best time for her as well. A few other athletes closing the field. It was very close at the end there, from sort of 3rd through to 5th and 6th there. Okay, here's the one to watch. Ben Proud, middle lane, phenomenal start. Probably, arguably the best in the world in the first 15 metres. So likely the pole position will come from lane 4, closely followed by Jacob Peters, and Bain's on good form. Alberto in lane 5.
Ben Proud there in lane number 4, very much the favourite for this one. So that Jacob Peters maybe a little bit more to give from the heats. He's 1 lane down from Ben Proud, but Ben Proud just with the edge here. But Jacob Peters now trying to come back on Ben Proud as well. It's very close, but Ben Proud, I think, has this one into the wall. Ben Proud takes it, 23.46 for Ben Proud. That's a meet record at the Edinburgh International. Great swim from Ben Proud to take that one, and that was a quality field, Jack.
That was indeed, and there was a fair few athletes who were in PB form there. I believe that's first time Alberto's gone sub-24 as well, and Jacob Peters will be happy with a 24 low, but yeah, Ben, that was, I mean, from the start, the first 15 metres were incredible. 23.4, I think he'll be pleased with that. He's a world champion from back in 2017. He's got the British record in this event, 22.75, not a million miles away from that. He's got a stellar background in the 50 fly from Commonwealth Games in 2014, champion there, so he'll be looking to back up a performance in Birmingham. But yeah, it was a great performance, and I will say that Ben won't be taking part in the second round, having spoke to him before the event, so it will be a little bit of a rejig from the marshals.
I thought we were going to lose Jamie Ingram and Casper Pugard, but might just be Casper Pugard now if Ben Proud doesn't take the start. So they're off and running for the women's event. That was 90 seconds after the men.
Yeah, so they don't actually give you a take your marks, they just blow the whistle. So I think a few were caught out, but it's actually Tane Bruce doing very well closest to our screen. But again, coming from the middle lanes, I believe that's Anna Hopkin again.
Well, we're going to have to drop
Harriet
2 here.
Rogers.
Just got to try and avoid being in the last 2 here in the centre. Anna Hopkins coming through. It's going to be very close indeed. Amy Canny takes it. Tane Bruce did very well in second place. Milo van Beek in third, and in fourth it was Lucy Hope. So Anna Hopkins loses out by 1/100th of a second, I think.
Well, I think a few people might have been caught by the start there. Again, there's not a take your mark. That's only for the first round. So they get a warning whistle, and then after that there will be the klaxon to go. So again, I believe it was lane 6 was caught out there. Milo again potentially doesn't know the rules, and that's one of the Dutch athletes. Maybe didn't quite get the memo before the race, but again she made up for it. She came back through. So yeah, very good job there.
4 swimmers remain, and Lucy Hope just getting in ahead. So
and actually we've dropped 3 athletes here, as like I said, Ben chose not to compete, so we've lost lane 1. Oh, who have we lost? Yep, Ben.
1 and 8 and Ben, so I'm just going to lose 1 from this one. So Ben Proud not taking the start here in the centre, but we've got to lose 1 more athlete here, and who's that going to be? It could well be Alberto Lozano Mateos, the Spanish swimmer, in the centre here. It's very, very close. Tim Corjania as well, maybe under threat, but it might be the Spanish swimmer we're going to lose. 26.21 for Lozano Mateos. 26.21 will not be enough. Callum Bain takes that one in 25.37.
I'll tell you, Jacob Peters nearly lost that in the finish. It was an incredibly long glide there. You really need to be careful, but he'd done the work earlier in the race, so maybe a bit of a tactical back off there towards the end, particularly after that second round. The lactate, like we talked at the start, that lactic acid build up, the fatigue in the muscles will be significant now, and it will unfortunately only get worse from here. Competed in this event a few times myself, and it is brutal. It really does test you in a whole manner of ways.
Well, swimmers move their way back up again. Lost Anna Hopkin. This time Lucy Hope survives.
I believe that's Emma Russell as well.
Yeah, Emma Russell went in the first round.
And Tane Bruce again outside by herself there. 2 lanes separating from the rest of the athletes.
Swimmers stay in their own lane until the final 2, and then they'll move in.
So I think Tane's chosen tactically not to take this 50. I think it was a casual fall into the pool, but it's all coming from the other side of the pool now. Amy Canny taking it out, challenged by Lucy Hope.
Yeah, 3 swimmers look like they are going to progress to the next one. Tane Bruce, well, starting to come back very slightly in the closing stages here. She's not going to be far away at all, but it is going to be Amy Canny ahead of Lucy Hope and Milo van Beek. That's the 3 will progress to the top 3 showdown there with Tane Bruce, 28.71, but she'll be happy with what she's done there, Tane.
Yeah, I think she will be. I said it was a tactical, maybe it wasn't. I think it might have just been the legs are giving out in the start. Like I said, I mean, the fatigue that is built up by this point in the race is, again, I remember literally falling into the pool myself in the past. Myself and Ben did this race, I think it was 2016, and yeah, we were in absolute bits in the final 2, so yeah, I can very much relate, but it's more the 200 freestylers holding themselves together here.
Well, we got 2 pairs in this final 4. So we have lane number 2, Tim Costagna, Jacob Peters goes in 3, Gregor Swinney in 6, and Callum Bain in 7. Survival of the fittest here in this 50 butterfly.
Yeah, there's still some good starts there from the lot. Jacob, very good start underwater, still holding it together, looking comfortable.
Jacob Peters just maybe leading them. It looks like it might just be Gregor Swinney who's under threat here, possibly Tim Costagna as well. I think Jacob Peters is going to be well safe here. It's going to be close at the end, and it is Gregor Swinney I think we're going to lose. Oh, 26.89 for Gregor Swinney, and that was close. 26.87 for Tim Costagna to get ahead of Gregor Swinney.
Yeah, a couple of hundredths again, really can come down into the finish. Who's gliding, who's taking a full stroke, who's taking a cheeky half stroke. I mean, these fine margins make a huge difference, and well, Bain held his own there out in lane 7, putting in a decent performance. Again, he's 50 specialist, so I'm impressed to see him holding it together at this point into the final 3, the final 2 I should say, against Jacob. Now the final 2 for the women, they move into the centre lanes, lane 4 and lane 5. Then we have Lucy and I can't remember, it's Canny and Lucy, that's it, in the middle 2 lanes.
Oh, we thought they were going to go to 3 there. They're going to 2, and they've moved them in to the middle lanes.
So we're going to 2.
And leads at 4 and 5. Amy Canny and Lucy Hope.
Yeah, I think they were expecting potentially 3, but it's looking like it's coming from Canny in the centre lanes now.
Yeah, I think it is going to be Canny who's going to take this one. Well, a bit of a procession, I think. Amy Canny just keeping an eye on Lucy Hope as she came in there, but Lucy Hope has very little left, and Amy Canny will be the skins champion. He won it really on the start. Lucy Hope, well, I think Amy Canny realised, didn't she, that Lucy Hope had very little left, and 26.37.
Yeah, she did. But
take that title, and decent enough time as well.
Yeah, to be Amy's credit, that's a very solid time of 26.3, considering finishing very strong. She could have eased off at the end, but she powered right the way into the wall and got her head down. So, yeah, hats off. That was a stellar performance from Amy. Again, there's a bit of confusion here on poolside. I think there should be 3 at this stage according to our programme. However, we've dropped down to 2. Therefore, Jacob and Bain should be in the middle lanes, but no, they're staring each other off on opposite sides.
They are. It looks like they're going to stay in their lanes for this showdown.
Happy enough where they are.
Jacob Peters and Callum Bain, and they are away. They got a pretty even start here. But Jacob Peters,
yeah, he's looked in control the last couple of 50s, even easing off into the wall, so he is taking full control of this final 50. Bain still holding his own, stroke still held together somewhat, but Jacob is powering into the wall now, likely into that 25 low bracket I expect to see here.
25 at 284 Jacob Peters.
25 low is what I meant to say, not into the 24s.
Yeah, almost in the 24s there for Jacob Peters. I thought he was. Callum Bain second there in 27.86. So Jacob Peters takes that one. He survives the skins, comes out on top.
Yeah, well, he'd controlled the race. He was 25.5 and 25.4 respectively on number 2 and 3, so I think looked fairly controlled and knew what he was doing there. But good performance from Bain. I think he'll be happy to get into the final 2 from a pure 50 specialist when you're going up against 200 some of these athletes, but again, they quite often don't make it out of that first round, and that's it. There's nothing left to do at that point.
Well, like
significant confusion here. I think it was meant to be 3, and now we're doing another final round. So
this is the final. Lucy Hope and Amy Canny. Maybe it was the 3 before, and the third swimmer didn't turn up. So this is the real head-to-head now. Amy Canny's got to try and pick it all up again, as has Lucy Hope.
Well, considering Amy absolutely maxed the last one, she's absolutely dominating again. So incredibly impressive here from Amy.
Well, it looks like she is. It's going to be a repeat here of that previous, what we thought was the final, but it is going to be Amy Canny who's going to take this one again. She will be the champion, the skins champion. 27.23 for Amy Canny. I think the face says all for Amy Canny. Bright red face, the shoulders bright red as well. That has been tough.
It's an absolute max training effort at this point. I mean, the skins really are a huge test on the body, and to do what looked like a surprise 50 there, and I can see even Jacob looks confused, and so does Bain, Callum Bain down at the end, and they both have now been told they are now doing the final 50. I believe they also thought the previous 50 was their last, but here we go. So it's still all to play for. Callum Bain could still step up here.
Yeah, well, Callum Bain's got a second chance here. Jacob Peters, the closest to us, Callum Bain furthest away. I'm guessing that for the final 3, the other swimmer just didn't show up, decided that was it. So, you know, they swum as a 3, but just 2 of them taking the start, so they progressed to the final.
Yeah, and what do we know? Maybe the athletes did know and we just didn't.
Well, let's see if we can repeat this. Jacob Peters, can he repeat the result? Look at that start for Jacob Peters ahead of Callum Bain.
Yeah, again, I think he's going to be well in control here. Like I said, Jacob is a 100 swimmer, Bain is more of a 50 specialist, so that's very much coming through here. Jacob will be a lot more used to this sort of calibre of training, and he's, to be fair, tightening up a fair bit coming into the wall, but he's getting the job done.
Here we go, 28.27.
That's not Martine, that's Jacob.
That's not.
Again, we can only apologise for the technical confusion
Jacob.
here. That is in fact Jacob Peters.
Jacob Peters takes that one. And he is now officially the skins champion. We crowned him a little bit early.
Well, talking of being kept on our toes, we were kept on our toes there, weren't we?
Well, we're going to have skins to enjoy every night of this Edinburgh International meet. This is just night one. They'll be sorted out by night two, and it'll be perfect in night three.
It will. The skins test everyone, judges, marshals, timekeepers alike. It's one of those events that does require a lot of logistical understanding, but yeah, we'll get there. And again, keeps things interesting, keeps things vibrant and unexpected. So
yeah, absolutely.
And
Keeps
now
us on our toes.
We go from the shortest events to more one of the longer, the women's 400 metre freestyle junior final.
Yep, we have swimmers just coming out behind the blocks there for that 400 freestyle. Ruby Griffiths in lane number 1 from Mount Kelly. Leah Slosson from Swim England in lane 2. Natasha Simpson from Warrender Bath in lane 3. Lara Thompson, Swim England in 4. Daraya Golovati from Israel in 5. Grace Hodgins from Swim Ireland in lane 6. Evie Dilley from Swim England in 7. And Lucy Fox from Swim England in lane number 8.
Yeah, so the 400, I had a training partner from a while back, and he always used to describe the 400 as a weird in-between event. It wasn't quite long enough to be a distance event. It was by no means short enough like the 200s to be a bit more of a sprint. It's very much an in-between, and again, it can be an absolutely brutal event. You can see some folk that really go out too hard or overly hard in the first 100 and are found wanting in that last. So pacing here is incredibly important to get right.
Oh, these junior swimmers, the times ranging from 4:25 through to 4:31. 16 and 17-year-olds in this one. So, and Lara Thompson from Swim England, that red cap there in the centre lane, just heading the field as they go up this first 50. Again, we'll be able to take advantage of seeing the splits for the previous 50 as we go through the race here. But Thompson leads Natasha Simpson, Leah Slosson as well in the early stages.
Yeah, Lara Thompson going out with purpose there. She's asserting herself into the race. Nice long stroke, not going to the legs too much. You can see across the board there the whitewash from some of the athletes that are going to the legs quite early, whereas you look at Lara's feet, they're a little bit more relaxed. Again, that can put you in a great position towards the end of the race, as long as you can keep yourself in the race in the first place, of course. But again, there's all sorts, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's the beauty of the sport. Different approaches can still equate to a promising result. And at the wall we still have Lara in control, closely followed by Natasha and Leah. Grace not too far away either. The field's starting to split slightly now into sort of the top half and the lower. But again, a lot can change in a 400 metre race.
Yeah, absolutely. Lara Thompson just now being caught slightly by Natasha Simpson there as they go through to that 150 mark. Just keep an eye on them as they go over there. Natasha Simpson, just about the same split. But the first 3 swimmers, not much in it at all for their splits. 33 point for all of them. And they're very, very close. Grace Hodgins in 4th position, just right across there in lane 6. But the big 3 looking good at this stage as they come down to the 200 metre mark.
Yeah, and again, you'll see different approaches here. Some athletes might have gone slightly more tactical in the morning. Again, 2 400 metres can be a hard back-to-back in the same day. And again, that's why you see slightly different challenges coming from different lanes, further away lanes, like outside in Grace there. A wee bit further out, away from the rest of the athletes that are more in the centre lanes. Again, Lara's still holding a consistent 33 mid-pace, which is well on track for lowering her 4:25 heat time if she can hold this into the final 150 metres.
Yeah, she has looked good all the way through so far. Lara Thompson, 17-year-old from Swim England. She's got almost a body length lead now, and she goes through there. Just about a second advantage over Leah Slosson, who's moved into second position, just ahead of Natasha Simpson as well. And it might be Leah Slosson who's maybe the main threat as they'll come down to the 300 mark. But I have to say, Lara Thompson looking good. A big contingent representing Swim England here in Edinburgh.
Yeah, well, again, they're using it as a great prep meet opportunity. England will be looking to take a big team down to Birmingham. They actually get 3 places per athlete, which makes their team significantly larger than most, being a home nation. So again, it's not surprising to see a lot of the juniors attached to that team. I think Natasha falling off the pace slightly now, and Lara actually accelerating down to 33.0. Again, Leah Slosson still holding on, and again the threat from lane 6 is not eliminated. You've got Grace, who's still in contention for that second, third place. Again, coming across from Natasha. I think Grace is now going to potentially take over that third spot at this wall, or she'll be close. She may well be now coming to the wall. Grace doing a good job out there on her own.
Yeah, it's pretty close for third there. Just 2/100 separating Natasha Simpson and Grace Hodgins. But no doubt about the top 2 here. Leah Slosson is chasing Lara Thompson here. Lara Thompson has led pretty much right from the start. It was a slender lead as they went up the first 50. It's extended as she has gone through this race. Her entry time, her qualification time from the heat was 4:25. She's improved that to 4:20.48. Well done, Lara Thompson. Great swim from her. Leah Slosson in second place in 4:22.323. And in third position, well, that's Grace Hodgins just getting in ahead of Natasha Simpson for that third spot. But a good swim there from Lara Thompson.
Yeah, a good prospect for the future. I mean, getting in close to the teens there, the 4:19s, I should say, and below is a great barrier to get close to. So, again, for context, I would have put her in a middle lane for the B final, and if she'd done that performance in the morning, so it shows the quality that she's brought through into the evening there. Again, maybe could have done a little bit more in the heats to put herself in contention for that B final, but again, that experience and opportunity will come. So now we move into the B final.
Yeah, there's confirmation of the result. Lara Thompson taking that one in 4:20.48. B finalists are out now behind the block. I don't think we have Alice Deering in lane 1. That's a late withdrawal. We have Ella Dyson in 2, Swim England. Beatrice Farley, Swim England in 3. Ayana Amakusa from Spain in 4. Tamron Van Zelm from Millfield in 5. Marianne Hankwit from Loughborough University in 5. Omar Schwartz from Israel in 7. And Lucy Headley from Swim England in lane number 8.
Yeah, well, Omar, a 16-year-old in lane 7 there from Israel. It's the fastest qualifying junior. However, the challenge or the gauntlet has very much been thrown down by Lara for that junior title, that 4:20. I think Omar will be tested significantly here to get down to that.
Another junior in the A final as well, so that time from Lara in that first heat. We've got 2 more juniors to have a crack at that one, but as they go through that first 50, Beatrice Farley has had a good swim. Another one of these Swim England contingent here. She'll be hoping to follow what Lara Thompson did in that junior final and take this one out right from the start. Also going well, maybe in lane number 5 as well, Tamron Van Zelm from Millfield. And Ella Dyson from Swim England. So that's the top 3, Varley, Van Zelm and Dyson. In fact, it's equal second place, 102.47 for Van Zelm and Dyson.
Yeah, well, Varley's doing very well. We're the only athlete in the 31s there, so that's a significant split there to be putting down in the first 100. You'll often see that slightly quicker splitting in that first 100 metres to kind of set the tone and the pace. Probably settle into the 32s now. Again, a challenge coming there from outside. Is Ella Dyson still right in it?
Still the same order as we had that previous turn there. Farley, Van Zelm, Dyson. Farley in lane number 3 now, I think, just been overtaken by Van Selm as they come down to the halfway point. The angle a little bit deceptive there as they come.
I think it is Van Selm that's actually going to take over the lead here. Yeah, Beatrice Varley just falling off the pace slightly there into 33s. Dyson and Van Selm holding those 32s, and again from lane 4 got another 32.8. That is Hanoi.
Hanoi Amiskua from Spain was the fastest into this final, just in the 4:20.09, just very, very close to breaking that 4:20 mark. So the swimmers will be hoping to dip under that 4:20 barrier. Van Selm still with the lead. Farley just dropping back slightly. Ella Dyson there as well, and Amiskua 32.24, the fastest of the leading 4 there, as they'll come down to the 300 mark.
Yeah, well, if they hold on to this pace, they'll definitely be dropping under that 20 barrier for sure. They're holding on to those 32 mids. Again, the pack's closing slightly now. Manoy coming through again. She's paced her race well to close in this last 100. Van Selm still holding her own. Those 32s, the only one still. The athletes around her dropping slightly now. Again, this is where we'll see athletes going to the legs a little bit more. What have they got left in the tank for that final sprint finish?
Yeah, Tamrin Van Selm now took the lead just around about the halfway point here, and she looks like she's stretching away from the others here. They go over on this final turn. Well, Beatrice Varley has just closed up very, very slightly there by a couple of tenths of a second. She's only 8/10 of a second behind here. I wonder if has she got anything left that she can challenge Tamrin Van Selm. Beatrice Varley is finishing very strongly indeed. Ella Dyson is going strongly too. Also, one line up, Marion Hanquet as well. But I think it is going to be Tamrin Van Selm with that green cap. She's going to take it. She will take that in a time of 4:17.42. Beatrice Varley just less than a second behind in second position. And Marion Hanquet, great swim there, 4:18.67. What a good finish that was from Marion Hanquet, the Belgian.
Yeah, and Marion coming in back home on a 30.9 there last 50, phenomenal last leg. So again, dropping into the teens is great to see. It's significant drops from a lot of the athletes there, and I believe Omar slightly away from the junior standard that still is held by Lara. And the junior will be tested now by Carla, the final junior in the A final.
A final. Well, we said that Spanish have a good tradition of kind of middle distance swimming here. They've got a big contingent in this A final of this women's 400 freestyle. 4 of the 8 swimmers are from Spain, just about to be introduced. The first of the Spanish swimmers, Angela Martinez Guilen, next to her Spanish teammate, Paula Just Sanchez. 3 from Bath, it's Freya Anderson, Great Britain Olympic team member. Freya Colbert from Nova Centurion goes in lane 4. Leah Chris from Bath goes in lane number 5. Third Spanish swimmer is Carla Caron Muña. She's the junior swimmer, hoping to chase that time from Lara Thompson in the junior final. Monique Olivier from Edinburgh University and Alba Herrero Lazaro, Spanish swimmer, the 4th of the Spanish swimmers to take the start here in this 400 freestyle.
Yeah, a few athletes in the mid-teens here. Expect a bit more of a drop now, particularly Freya, capable of significantly quicker. Monique Olivier equaling the time she set in the heats previous weekend, and that she did in the final last weekend, I should say. So again, on good form from Edinburgh. yeah, I think the Freya's respectively did look good this morning.
Freya Anderson in line number 3. Now, multi-medalist at the major championships, Freya Anderson. She's been a real vital part of relay teams over the last few years, hasn't she?
Yeah, come onto the scene relatively recently, the last few years prior to lockdown, and again, just huge amount of talent, a little bit raw initially, but has very much been moulded into a stellar athlete, and like you said, has been synonymous with so many of the relay successes that we've had in recent years. 400 slightly longer than she's used to potentially, more of a 100 and 200 specialist, but can stretch it out to the 400.
Yeah, I was going to say, I always think of her like at the 100 and the 200. I don't think I've seen her swim much on the 4. She had a good heat this morning, though.
Yeah, well, she's got the long stroke for it, but again, the pacing and the sort of capacities that we like to talk about in swimming are significantly different from the 400, but again, there may be a training effect that they're going for here, but challenge coming out from Monique, actually, Olivier in lane 7 from Edinburgh to challenge Freya Colbert, and then closely followed by Freya.
Yeah, the two Freyas out ahead there. Freya Colbert just about half a second ahead of Freya Anderson. And Freya Colbert, of course, was the gold medal winner in the English winter meet just in December there, showing some good form recently, the Nova Centurion swimmer. And one of the youngest in the event. She's 18 years of age, so not a junior swimmer anymore, just one younger than her in this heat. Freya Colbert. She's leading a couple more experienced names there. Leah Crisp as well in lane number 5. We've seen her swim in Edinburgh. She's won a title here at the Edinburgh International before, a couple of years back. But it is Freya Colbert now with that green cap as they come up to the halfway point.
Again, a great transition for Leah and for Freya Colbert from junior into the senior ranks now. So again, she's holding her own against what is predominantly a senior field, which is great to see. Again, Freya Anderson right on her shoulder there. She'll know what she's doing, pacing well in control. Freya closes very strongly in the 200 freestyle, so I can imagine that she'll be applying a similar tactic here, and she may well be making a move as we speak, sort of moving up onto the shoulder now. Again, Monique Olivier out there by herself. Still holding on to the rest of the field, and it's Paula from Spain, Paula Justin Sanchez, again is trying to hold on to the shoulder of Freya.
Yeah, Freya Anderson really picking up there, 31.28 for that previous 50 there, a second, just over a second faster than Freya Colbert, and that must be worrying for Freya Colbert. She's breathing towards Freya Anderson. Both breathing towards each other as they come down to this 300 mark. Real head-to-head here.
Yeah, and I think they'll both know that, particularly for the last 50. That'll be a tactical reliance going on there, a strategy, how are you going to pace this last 50. Again, always look to the legs to see when they do come into play. I think we have got Freya Colbert trying to hold on. She's moved away from the lane line there, interestingly, maybe to get away from Freya. Again, that's a tactic that can go on if athletes try to get onto each other's waves, so to speak, in the lane line. So again, a bit of tactics going on.
Well, it's going to be a fascinating finish here as they go over this final 50. It's kind of the shorter distance specialist Freya Anderson against the more middle distance specialist. Has Freya Anderson got anything left here? We're about to find out, I think. She's gone to her legs, Freya Anderson and Freya Colbert. They've gone head to head, but Freya Anderson showing her strength, her sprint speed, her speed that she shows in the 100 and the 200 freestyle is coming to the fore now. I'm not sure Freya Colbert has got enough to come back here. Freya Anderson coming into the closing stages now, and she is going to take this one. Freya Anderson will take it in 4:12.30. Very good final 50 there for Freya Anderson to take that one ahead of Freya Colbert in 4:12.92, and Leah Crisp came through strongly for third position in 4:15.34.
Yeah, Leah Crisp almost negative split that race there. We thought she was completely out of it at one point and came back very well indeed. So yeah, that was an impressive performance from Leah there, showing her strategy. Monique again very close to her personal best time, and Again, getting close to that 4:10 for the top two athletes there is fairly shifting. That's getting close to some pretty quick time. So yeah, great job across the board. Now we move on to the men's 200 meter breaststroke, again following a similar order of junior, then B final, and then the senior final.
And here's the juniors. They are behind the block. Jake Holmes from City of Glasgow, Mika van Bleur from Borenderbath, Donatus Agasius from Mount Kelly, Arthur Llewellyn from Borough of Stockton, next to his Borough of Stockton teammate Isaac Hall, Elliot Woodburn in 6, Sam Harrison in 7, Guy Pelosi in lane number 8. .200 breaststroke.
Yeah, very good start there, up for, is that lane 6, Elliot Woodburn. Yeah, it was a very good job, really maximised the wall, really long gliding stroke there. It's really nice to see. Breaststroke is the longest glide phase of any stroke, so you really need to maximise the reach and the power of your kick. You'll see the 200 breaststrokers in particular having very long strokes, trying to take as few strokes really as possible in the first sort of length into the 2 lengths, and again you'll see a gradual build. The more experienced athletes will try and sort of increase their rate towards the end of a 200 metre breaststroke, and you can see Elliot, a commanding lead in the first 75 metres, really stretching away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, it's an excellent performance so far here for Elliot Woodburn. And he has a big lead over the 2 in the centre of the pool.
17-year-old as well, he's in a great spot. He's one of the up-and-comers in the breaststroke world. I mean, the standard that's been set by Wilby and PT of recent years, and even Jameson going further back, it's really showing through the ranks of the British breaststroke. Both male and female, should be said.
Yeah, British record actually held by Ross Murdoch. Yep. 207.30 in this one. That was when he won in Glasgow in 2014. Remember that one very well. Became the Commonwealth champion, of course. Was beaten by James Wilby, who we'll see in the A final a little bit later on in the Gold Coast in 2018. But as you say, real quality breaststrokers have been Great Britain over recent years, and well, Adam PT, he is absolutely phenomenal, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is, and unfortunately I think chose not to swim this 200 breaststroke. He did actually swim it last weekend in Marseille, but again, maybe an opportunity to see him at some point. But closing legs of the race here, we've got Elliot still holding his lead. The rest of the field closing slightly now from Isaac, Arthur and Denates respectively. Again, closing the field, significant challenge there from Isaac in lane 5. Going to be very close into the wall for the 1-2-3. Just held off by Elliot there. Ooh, close finish and very strong finish from Isaac. Nearly a 2-second difference there in that last 50.
Oh, yeah. Isaac Cole coming back really strongly there. But Elliot Woodburn had done the work early on. He takes that one in 2:24.32. Just holding on. That was tough in that final 50 there for Elliot Woodburn. But he managed to get in first position there, just half a second ahead of Isaac Hall. As you said, Jack, closed up 2 seconds there in that final 50. Arthur Llewellyn in third position, the 2 Borough of Stockton swimmers in second and third place. At the B final, we have a junior swimmer in this B final, George Smith in the centre lane from Swim England. Sam van der Stroom from Swim England in lane 1. Ross Young from Edinburgh University in 2. Owen Corby, Swim Ireland in 3. George Smith in lane 4, Swim England. Thomas Cannon from Stirling University in 5. Andrew Freenan from Swim Ireland in 6. Harper Whitehead from Stirling University in 7. William Ellington from Swim England in lane number 8. Probably favourite for this B final might be Owen Corby. He had a very strong entry time into this. Didn't swim that well in the heats. Wonder if you want to make amends for that, missing that A final the Irish swimmer in line 3.
I was thinking the same. He went 2:17.57 at McCulloch a few weeks ago and was a 21 in the heat, so again significantly off the pace of what he's capable of. And again, Ross Young again was significantly quicker at McCulloch and maybe a little bit to do in the heats, but again I think it is coming across from the closest lanes there from Ross Young and Owen respectively. It is closely followed by George Smith in lane 4.
Yeah, George Smith, the junior swimmer, 31.61 for him. He was actually the fastest into this B final, 2:20.79. But Ross Young and Owen Corby in the first half of this one.
Going out with intent there, Ross Young. I think will be strategic here, and Owen Corby still well in control, as is George Smith, kind of in a line there. The field's starting to split now. It's a good wall there from Ross Young and Owen Corby respectively. Really good wall actually from Ross Young, stretching it out.
Yeah, Ross Young looking good at this stage. Wonder what Owen Corby has got left here. Certainly, as I said, wanting to be going faster than he did in the qualification heats, but the junior swimmer, George Smith here, is not giving way to the experienced swimmers alongside him. George Smith maybe just heading to the front of this field as they go over that last turn.
Yeah, I think they're going to come into the rate here. You're going to see George is picking it up significantly now, trying to sprint into the finish. So is Ross Young and so is Owen. They're all really picking up the pace into that final 25 metres. Can Ross hold on? George Smith is looking really strong into this last closing 15 metres.
Yeah, he is indeed. It looks like it is going to be George Smith here. Again, it was good work off the wall from Ross Young, but it is, when they get into the swim, it's George Smith, and he will come home a clear winner in this B-final, and he takes it in 2:17.89, ahead of Ross Young, who was 2:19.36, and Owen Corby in third position there, 2:20.96, but a good swim from the junior swimmer there.
Yeah, again, a big chunk off his times. He's down as 18, but he is classified as a junior, so we're going off that junior classification. Again, it's great to see him dropping into the teens. Ross Young will be pleased with that as well. Pretty sure that's the best time for him. And Owen Corby maybe a bit disappointed with his performance, but again, you don't know where people are in their training cycles. It's always hard to tell. And again, backing up heat to swims, he did drop from the heat this morning time-wise. So again, good race there. Well paced from George Smith at the end. Smart head on the youngster.
Yeah, 2:17.89. That's the target for the juniors in this A final. Two juniors in this one. And there's the first one of them. Line 1, Callum Melville, one of the two juniors in this one, 16 years of age. Eugene Cook from Swim Ireland goes in line number 2. Adam Chillingworth from Plymouth Leander in 3. There is the Commonwealth champion James Wilby from Loughborough. He's the meet record holder in this Edinburgh International meet. Greg Butler goes in lane number 5 from Loughborough. Evil Kroos from the Netherlands, KNZB. Daniel Yusupov from Israel goes in lane number 7. And Liam Davis from Plymouth Leander.
Yeah, I think one to watch here might be Gregor Butler. He was 2:11.56 in Marseille last weekend, so again on very good form, and that will definitely challenge Wilby here. If he can emulate a similar time to that, he will be pushing Wilby right to the wall. And again, Usheen Cook produced a 2:15.2 and McCulloch 2 weeks past, so again there's a few folk to look out for here that have potentially had a bit of a tactical heat swim, which you quite often see in the 200 breaststroke, one of those events where there can be quite big drops at the final.
James Wilby, I talked about him before. He's been real world class in this event over the past few years. His teammate right next to him though, Greg Butler, Wonder if he can pose a threat to the Commonwealth champion. And Greg Butler and Wilby off to a decent start. Wilby probably the best.
Yeah, again, Wilby's worked a lot on his walls. He used to have a very interesting technique where he didn't perform a pull-out, believe it or not. Back then he just literally pushed off the wall and glided, whereas traditionally in the breaststroke you do push off the wall and pull your arms down and then bring them back up. So tactical decision, but he's really powering through in that first 50. Closely followed by Yushin Cook. He's again on good sprint performance recently with a 27 in the 50 at McCullough, as is Greg Butler, putting in a minute point performance in the 100. So, but yeah, Wilby is really showing his form here in his class, pushing it out in this first 100 metres.
Yeah, James Wilby, he's been one of that great generation of breaststrokers that we had alongside Adam Peaty, of course, and Ross Murdoch. And Wilby just going over at halfway point there in 102.90. An excellent split there. Greg Butler not too far behind, just a second or so. The two Loughborough swimmers out ahead there. Yushin Cook in third spot in lane number 2 here. And Wilby now coming really under a little bit of pressure from Butler, but Wilby still with that clear lead going into that final turn.
Yeah, and all to play for third place there with Adam Chillingworth and Yushin Cook. And again, James will be able to likely turn at the wall here and have a bit of a look and see where Greg Butler is. Always turning the other way, so again, they don't really necessarily know where each other are, holding on to their pace here, but again, it's looking like Wilby's in control at this point. Yeah, late challenge from Yushin Cook on the outside.
Yeah, the split was exactly the same almost. Wilby just 5 100s ahead of Butler, but here comes Butler now trying to come back. Greg Butler and James Wilby coming in together. Butler really pushing hard here. Wilby holding on. Can Butler get back? I think Wilby just kicks again. James Wilby goes away to take it. With Butler in second position, and in third it looks like Chillingworth.
Oh, that was a stellar last 50 there for Greg Butler. That was phenomenal. I think he really held it all together, and I think he did perform in a similar way at Marseille recently. Really held it together and pushed on in that last 50. Good performances there. I think there was a few personal best times there. Yushin Cook respectively, I think that is a personal best, and Adam Chillingworth getting down there, but yeah, James will be pleased with a 2:10. And now we move on to the women's 100 metre breaststroke. Junior final up first.
Yeah, there are the finalists for that junior final. Lucy Buckingham goes in line number 1. Grace Davidson for Swim Ireland in line number 2. Karen Esbrush from Israel goes in 3. Caitlin Lansome from England. Ellie Kennington from Plymouth Leander. Charlotte Hardy from Millfield. Kira Davidson from City of Glasgow. And Edie Float from Plymouth Leander. Well, we've seen some exciting races tonight. I wonder if this one is going to match up. Caitlin Lansome fastest into this final, 1:12.86. The women's 100 breaststroke junior final.
Yeah, a few 15-year-olds in the centre lanes there. Again, great to see some of the youngsters coming through, pushing on, challenging, getting themselves in a position at these bigger competitions and taking full advantage of that heat and final. I think it is coming from the middle lane though, from Caitlin and Ellie respectively.
Yeah,
I think it's actually going to be Ellie coming in potentially into the first 50, we'll soon see.
Yeah, well, difficult to tell here. It maybe is Caitlin Lansome just getting the touch there. Just a 15 100ths of a second. Ellie Kennington in second. Charlotte Hardy in third position here. It's like Caitlin Lansome just kind of picked up the pace as she went into the wall for that turn there.
Yeah, the 10 metres in and 10 metres out the wall were really good there from Caitlin. She fully capitalised on that, whipped round the wall, and yeah, she's flying away from the rest of the field now.
Yeah, here she comes into the final 10 metres. into the red zone, the final 5. It is going to be Caitlin Lansom will take this one in 1:11.40. Great swim from Caitlin Lansom, improving her time by almost 1.5 seconds from the heat. And I think that was a smile there from Caitlin as she saw the time.
Yeah, she looks happy. Likely in and around, if not a personal best time, so I'm sure she'll be very happy with that. And getting close to that 110 is very impressive. It's pushing things on, and a few of the finalists in this B final will be looking at that and thinking, oh, yeah, it's laying down a bit of a gauntlet. Considering again that would place right in the middle lanes for this B final.
Yeah, a couple of junior swimmers in the B final. Beth Young is one of them. She goes in lane number 1 for Swim England. Ragitza Gard for Hovenstatens in 2. Excel Dominic from Mediterranean in 3. Lily Booker from Loughborough in 4. Emir Doyle from Limerick in 5. Ellie McCartney, second junior swimmer in this one, Swim Ireland in 6. Anna Morgan in 7. And Megan Morrison in lane number 8. Target 1:11.40 for the junior swimmers. And that's faster than all these swimmers went in the qualification this morning.
It was, yeah. Shows you how well Caitlin did there to push on, but I think a few might challenge that 110s now. It's hard to tell at the moment. It might be coming in from Lily into that lane 4 in the wall, but again, tricky to tell this camera angle, but it's a bit across the board at the moment in this first 50.
Yeah, it certainly is. Lily Booker first there by just 1/10 of a second ahead of Emir Doyle and Hayley McCartney, but practically everyone's still in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard to tell depending on the pacing, but yeah, this second 50, a slight change now. Lily's still holding her own, but a bit of a challenge coming across from Ellie in lane 6.
Yeah, Ellie McCartney, one of the junior swimmers in this one, alongside Beth Young, going well. She said in lane number 6, but it might well be Lily Booker and Ellie McCartney into the wall together, and Booker gets it. 1:10.25. Ellie McCartney, the junior swimmer, coming in with 1:10.49.
Yeah, big drop there. That was she was 1:11.5 in the heat, so over a second drop there. I think she'll be delighted with that.
Emir Doyle in 3rd there, 1:11.00 for her, so some really good times, really good improvements there for that final. I think the first 5 swimmers all faster than they went in the heats this morning. In fact, the first 6, I think, because Ragitza Gard went under the 1:12 mark.
Yeah, I mean, it can be difficult to back up fast heats with fast finals here, because it's very difficult to get into these top places. So you're quite often find you're pushing yourself right close to your ability in the heat. So again, to drop again in the evening is it's very impressive. It's good to see.
So the women's 100 breaststroke in final, Laura Kinley, Isle of Man swimmer. She goes in lane number 1. Kayla van der Merwe from Winchester in 2. Imogen Clark from Derbentio goes in 3. Sarah Vasey goes in lane number 4 from Loughborough. Cara Hanlon, local swimmer from Edinburgh University, just right here in Edinburgh. Hazan Ozkan from Mount Kelly, the Turkish swimmer. Laura Rodriguez Sanchez from Spain in lane number 7, and another local swimmer, Katie Goodburn from Edinburgh University in this A final.
Yeah, I mean, Cara's been on record form recently. She went 1:07 at British University Championships, I think 3 weeks past, and Vasey again and Imogen putting in good performances at Marseille just past, so it'll be an interesting race. I think it will be coming from one of the centre lanes here, respectively from Cara or Sarah Vasey. Imogen Clark, that 50 specialist, she'll in lane 3, she'll really go out hard to that first 50 the way she paces the race. Likely see Cara close on the second half the way she swims.
Cara Hanlon, great to see her make the Commonwealth Games team. She's been around for a while, Cara Hanlon. Really coming onto form. It's a very long-standing Scottish record in this event. Kirsty Balfour holds it, 107.67.
Yeah, I believe it was Cara that just went under that. The Bucks recently, it's not been verified as yet, so she may be in challenging form, we'll soon see. But as predicted, there is Imogen Clark going out like a rocket to the first 50. I believe she is the British record holder to the 50, so unsurprising to see that sort of pace. Also, Vasey, a very good 50 specialist. Cara can hold her own, but I think the pace and the flow of the race will change significantly after this wall. But all to play for here for the top three.
Yeah, Sarah Vasey there, and Imogen Clark very, very close. Cara Hanlon in third position. Katie Goodburn going well in the outside lane. And see now, it's the big three in the centre. Sarah Vasey in 4. Cara Hanlon really going well in lane number 5 here. And Imogen Clark in lane 3, just holding on. But Cara Hanlon coming through strongly now. The Edinburgh University swimmer now getting ahead of Sarah Vasey. It could well be Cara Hanlon now into the wall. Oh, she stretched for it. And Cara Hanlon gets it in 108.34. 4/100ths of a second it was. Cara Hanlon gets in ahead of Sarah Vasey, and Imogen Clark in third position.
Oh yeah, that was very close on the wall there. I think well, smiles from Cara there. I think she's happy with that performance. Again, just a month out from trials, I think she'll be very pleased to be putting in a low 108 and getting close to that performance a month past. And Vasey again, a good drop, and Imogen Clark again getting into the 108s. Katie Goodburn into the 110s. I think she'll be very happy with that, considering the form she's been on recently, making those drops.
Yeah, great swim there from Cara Hanlon again, 108. Really backing up those recent times, isn't she?
Yeah, well, she's been so consistent recently with the previous competitions, and yeah, it's great to see that she's come into form right in time for the trials in a month's time from now. Very unlucky at the last Commonwealth Games, but hopefully she can put that form to good use. And when we go to the 200 individual medley junior final.
Yeah. Evan Bailey goes to Swim Ireland in lane number 1. Isaac Dodds, Swim England in 2. Solomon Williams from Millfield in 3. George Smith from Swim England in 4. Matthew Ward for Mount Kelly in 5. Daniel Eichel from Israel in 6. Moritz Baumgartner from Mount Kelly in 7. Connor Cherrington from Millfield in lane number 8. 200 metres individual medley.
Yeah, I mean, this one can really go all over the place. 4 lengths of the pool, each stroke, butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke and freestyle respectively in that order. So you can see strong butterfly swimmers and then a weak backstroker, but someone coming through in the breaststroke. So it's a really great race to see the order and the leader changing significantly quite often throughout the 200 metres.
And we've got George Smith back in again. He's not getting much of a rest. We saw him in the 200 breaststroke just a short while ago. George Smith from Swim England goes in lane number 4. So I wonder what he has got left in the tank when they get on to the breaststroke.
Very difficult double there, but it's looking to be Solomon coming into the wall first. Yeah, it is indeed, getting under that minute barrier in that first 100, putting himself in a great position for the second half.
Well, see what George Smith has got left here as he comes through there in lane number 4. That black hat of George Smith in amongst all the white hats alongside him, and he's really pushing hard there. George Smith right in the centre. Isaac Dodds also going well in lane number 2. Everything really closing up here. George Smith is coming right through, maybe to the front of the field. Very good breaststroke as we'd expected from George Smith there. And he does 35.82 for the breaststroke. Wow, about 2.5 seconds faster than anyone else.
Yeah, 3 seconds for most. That was a phenomenal breaststroke leg, and he's putting himself in an unbelievable position, powering into the wall, and he's still looking in incredible control. Considering he was out the pool very recently, this is a phenomenal performance.
And there is George Smith for Swim England. It's going to be another sensational performance from George Smith, and he touches the wall in 2:06.90. A couple of second improvement from George Smith on his heat time, and that was an incredible swim just straight after almost that 200 breaststroke.
And epitomised that chop and change of the order. Like I said, he went in I think 5th at the wall in the backstroke and came out of the wall after the next leg first, and off he went to dominate the rest of the race. So it just goes to show there really is all to play for in this event, just because of the complete multi-discipline impact that you have with really testing all the strokes, every aspect of swimming, and that's where you find your best all-round athletes in the 200 metre individual medley, because it tests the sprint, it tests all the strokes, your underwaters. It really is a great measure and standard within the pool. And then we go to the B final.
Yeah, Thomas Payne in lane 1 for City of Manchester Aquatic. Marcos Martin Virgilo from Spain in lane 2. Oliver O'Halloran from Derwent side in 3. Tony Joe Trent Oliver, Stirling University. Next to Stirling Uni teammate Angus Allison. Arbadell Gonzalez Alvarez from Spain in 6. Evan Jones from Millfield in 7. And Lewis Maxwell from Bath University in lane number 8. One junior in this one, Evan Jones.
Yeah, Evan Jones and Angus have been on good form at recent competitions, particularly Angus and the Scottish contingent, so it'll be interesting to see what they can bring to the table here. Evan been in the 200 freestyle earlier this evening, so Angus potentially a bit more fresh, so we'll see how that plays out. But it is coming from lane 3, I believe, at the moment in this butterfly leg. Potentially out in lane 7 as well, actually, from Evan Jones. It is Evan Jones, 26.5, closely followed by 3. Again, leading out in that butterfly leg.
Yeah, well, as you said, Jack, things could change about a lot on this 200 metres individual medley. But backstroke of Evan Jones looking pretty strong. As they come past the halfway point into the last 10 of this backstroke. In the outside lane, Lewis Maxwell also going well right up there in lane 8. And in the centre lanes, Tony Joe Trent Oliver and Oliver O'Halloran.
Angus is probably one to watch here. He's a strong breaststroker. He likely come through a little bit in the field. Evan's put himself in a great position though after that backstroke to hold on. He needs to get onto that freestyle leg where his strength lies. Centre lane there coming through from Tony and Angus respectively. Tony just taking the edge, but Angus is doing a great job to pull through into the middle of the field.
Well, Angus Allison, he was really nowhere after the butterfly. I think he was 6th place after the backstroke. He's gone into the lead here after the breaststroke, just 18/100ths ahead of Tony Joe Trent Oliver, with Evan Jones now down in 3rd position. But Angus Allison keeping an eye on Tony Joe Trent Oliver here and looking very strong indeed, although Evan Jones is coming back in that outside lane as well. Angus Allison and Evan Jones, now these two coming into the wall absolutely together. It might be Evan Jones with a really strong freestyle leg there on that medley, and he will take it in 2:05.30. What an excellent finish that was for Evan Jones.
That was indeed. I mean, nearly a second clear of the rest of the field in that split respectively, so it was a huge sprint finish. Like I said, he would be longing for that freestyle leg when he was on the breaststroke. He did the work in the backstroke, did enough, held on in the breaststroke, and then managed to actually pull through and overtake the two breaststrokers respectively, and Tony and Angus in the middle of the pool. So great performance from Evans, and he'll take the junior title as well, I believe.
Yeah, he was faster than George.
No, we've got Ruben. We've got one junior left actually, Ruben, in the senior final, so it could be up for threat here.
I'll keep an eye on the time, but it was a fast time there for Evan Jones, 2:05.30. It's the final event of the final session tonight in the Edinburgh International Swim Meet. It's the A final of the men's 200 metres individual medley. Ben Harrison, first swimmer we'll see, the first of 4 Loughborough swimmers in this final. Luke Ibbison is the second of those Loughborough swimmers. Jacob Greeno from University of Bath, he goes in lane number 3. Andreas Pasios from Loughborough University He goes in lane number 4. Duncan Scott, Stirling University, the Olympic Games silver medalist, goes in lane number 5. James McFadden from Loughborough University goes in lane 6. William Riley from University of Bath, second Bath swimmer in this one, he goes in 7. And the junior swimmer Ruben Rowbottom Keating from Swim England completes the lineup in lane number 8.
Well, Duncan really is the one to watch here with a 1:55.28 national record set in the Olympic final to take that silver medal. But Andrei Vizaios from Loughborough has been putting in some stellar performances recently. He's a real technician off the wall, so don't discount him at all here, and I think it'll be all to play for, these athletes pushing as close as they can to that sub 2 minute barrier.
Yeah, Andreas Vizaios, the Greek swimmer, represented Greece in those Olympic Games. Duncan Scott, what an Olympic Games he had. What phenomenal career he's had in recent years. Duncan Scott just seems to go from strength to strength. Goes in lane number 5. That white cap right in the centre of the pool, that's Duncan Scott.
Duncan actually holds the short course 400 individual medley record as well, so he's well capable of holding his own in this event and silver medalist, so it'll be interesting to see how it chop and change. Andrei Vizaios, a good backstroker, Duncan a very good breaststroker and freestyler, so again it'll be an interesting back and forth here.
Well, Duncan Scott with that white cap might just be first in for the butterfly. 25.88. James McFadden a couple of tenths behind. Vizaios in 3rd position, but off the wall well on the backstroke. Just maybe challenging Duncan Scott here as they come to the halfway point in this 200 metres individual medley. And Duncan Scott, a great all-rounder, Jack. Has he got a weakness in this individual medley?
Well, it used to be the breaststroke. It's now probably backstroke, actually, considering the work he's done on that breaststroke leg. Vizaios really had to be near Duncan to be challenging at this point, I feel. But again, Vizaios has put down some good sprint performances in the breaststroke, so it'll be interesting to see. He's holding his own, coming back, and again, Duncan, like I said, the breaststroke leg is the one he's worked most on over the years to really move on. And again, Vizaios still on his shoulder.
Yeah, Vizaios and Duncan Scott now just almost side by side. Duncan Scott just with the edge here ahead of Vizaios. Very close contest for 3rd position between Greenough and James McFadden. And Duncan Scott, well, he hasn't lost much on the breaststroke, just a 1/10 of a second. And Duncan Scott on this freestyle surely must be the favourite.
Yeah, I would say so, considering his background, but Vizaios is giving it his all. He's by no means packing it in. Vizaios is motoring down this last length. He's going to be challenging him here. They're breathing away from each other, so Vizaios is really closing in well. Has he timed it too late? Duncan's easing off slightly. Vizaios coming into the end of the wall. It's going to be very close in the touch, and fair play to Vizaios there. Gave it his all. Closed about 0.4 on Duncan.
Duncan Scott gets that one, 1:59.35, a meet record for Duncan Scott. He put absolutely everything into that. Andreas Vizaios, well, he made him work all the way for that one. Also under the 2 minute mark, 1:59.86 there for Vizaios. And in 3rd position is James McFadden, who takes that one in 2:03.68, just 9/100ths ahead of Jacob Greenough. But there, what a finish that was. Andreas Vizaios just didn't give it up at all there. And Duncan Scott just held on to take that one. 1:59.35, and both the top swimmers inside the Edinburgh International meet record.
Yeah, that's one of the times of the event so far, considering Duncan had 200 freestyle and a very top-class performance as well. It's an impressive back-to-back. He's used to doing that at the ISL, of course, and can also confirm that Evan Jones did take the junior title there quite comfortably, actually, in the end by over a second. But yeah, Vizaios, what a closing 50. There was me saying his backstroke was stronger than his breaststroke. His breaststroke was actually slightly quicker than Duncan, so he really pulled it through.
Yeah,
great evening of performances.
Yeah, it was a great evening, great way to close the evening there with Duncan Scott taking that meet record and that title here in Edinburgh at the Royal Commonwealth Pool. at the Edinburgh International Swim Meet 2022. That's day one of competition. We've got another 2 days of competition for us to enjoy over the weekend. Well, thank you very much, Jack. It's been a good evening. You'll be back again for the next couple of days.
Yeah, likewise, and I know you've put in a big shift today. 3 sessions back to back. You deserve a bit of a break. I'll be in tomorrow evening for the session 6, I believe that will be, or 9. Session 9. So many sessions I lose count. I'll be in the evening tomorrow.
Well, we'll look forward to those finals this evening. There's a small matter of qualification for those, and that begins tomorrow at 8:25 time here in Edinburgh. So join us for the coverage tomorrow. It's been a great first day of action. We look forward to the next 2 days. Hopefully it'll be just as good. Thank you very much, Jack. And from me, Paul Noble and Jack Thorpe, it's goodbye for now.